Kennedy overnight road construction has cleared around Cumberland. We're now seeing no delays inbound or outbound. Edens is fine. No problems to report on the Eisenhower, the Stevenson, or the Ryan. I-57, Bishop Ford looking good. The Illinois tollways are fine. On the Indiana Toll Road, a new phase of construction starts today. This is between State Road 39 on the Port and 31 in South Bend. There'll be one lane open in each direction until July 4th weekend. That's on the Indiana Toll Road in the Port and St. Joe counties. Traffic is a service of J.C. Penney Optical. Get to J.C. Penney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around into the early afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, high 79. A shower or thunderstorm early this evening, then clearing tonight with a low of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare, 64 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, just a quick update. We'll get more details later, but...
What, the Sox won a game finally?
Well, the Sox ended their losing streak, which was nice, and the Cubs started theirs, which was also nice.
Hey.
And that was against Arrieta, too.
I know.
But no, good news. Good news. Positive. Yesterday we had the professor, Joseph Okal, who's the math teacher and
that's right,
chess coach for Earl STEM Elementary. What? Do you need new headphones? Yeah, apparently you do.
Does this a headphone make my butt look fat?
You're going like one flap down like Jeff Leonard when he hit home runs back in the day.
I'll fix it later.
Yeah. Just listen from the good ear.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right ear, because it's right.
So we had Joseph Okal, this math teacher and chess coach, who started the chess program. I've termed him the Jaime Escalante of chess, and that's because I want the movie rights to his story.
Well, you better start writing the screenplay now.
He started this chess club, Southside. 90% of his kids come from families that live below the poverty line. Started a chess club last year, despite opposition from old school teachers in that school, which is a STEM school.
They don't like change.
That's the name.
No, seriously, they don't like change, and they don't like newcomers.
In a year, his girls' team wins the city championship. His boys' team finishes fifth, is what he said. And he skips the one-day walkout that the Chicago Teachers Union orchestrated on April 1st because he promised his kids he would be with them, and he was. He spent as much time with them as he could, and he did. And now he's fighting to devote the portion of his salary for that day, not to the union, but to his kids, and he's got to go to a hearing and all this. So he stood up to the teachers union. He stood up to the old guard at the school that didn't want a chess club, incredibly, teach children how to, think strategically and develop themselves cognitively.
Yeah, and also, more importantly, keep them off the streets between 3 and 6 p.m.
Well,
when it's dangerous in Inglewood.
Yeah, but it's not just about babysitter service. I mean, It's actually giving value-added skills, putting them on a productive path.
Right, but that's the reason why he didn't want to leave, because it was a Friday afternoon in April, and he wanted to be there for the kids. Because he made a commitment to them, and he's honoring his commitment.
And so he's trying to get money raised to take at least 15 members of the chess club, I think there's 40, to D.C. for this trip because they were invited by some politicians to come to D.C. And he was about $6,000 short, he said yesterday when we spoke with him.
Yeah.
And so we got together. We decided, well, let's have AM 560 and our listeners put them over the top. And that's exactly what happened. So I don't know what the final count is, and a lot of the people that called in or emailed in, didn't tell me what amount they're going to send. But I know at minimum we're well over $8,000.
Really?
Yeah. So hopefully that means more of the kids on his chess club can go. So thanks to all the AM 560 listeners who pitched in. It's great. And we'll read some of the names a little bit later in the show, but I just wanted to give that update before
I have a name to read.
Get into politics.
Dan Proft.
Oh, yes.
No, but it's important to you. I mean, you played chess. You still play chess, don't you, occasionally?
Yeah.
But it's important to you. And
when I retire in a year,
okay.
I'm going to
when
spend
you
my
turn
time
75?
playing chess. Yeah, exactly.
And live in the home?
We've got a 75 and out policy at Salem.
Yeah. No, but you brought this story to everyone's attention. I heard briefly about it on one other news outlet, but they didn't make an effort. They just kind of, did a phoner and that was it. But you really stepped up to the plate and did a great job for these kids.
Well, thank you. But I mean, the point is, there are stories even in CPS, as tough as I am on CPS and we are on CPS, and deservedly so. There are great stories to be had. Of course, there are great people, great teachers working in CPS and kids that are doing wonderful things when given the opportunity. And so you just want to highlight it to tell people, there are models out there that can be replicated. There are models out there that can be scaled, transferred to other schools. You just have to have a bit of a willingness to, as you said, change. Mm-hmm. So anyway, now before we get into the drudgery of politics.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to update that, and we'll, as I said, we'll tick off some of the names that pitched in as well a little bit later in the show.
And since we're in the giving mood, I did go to Nashville over the weekend, and I got you a present.
Oh.
And I forgot to bring it yesterday, and I was going to wrap it, but I went through TSA, and so I couldn't wrap it.
Something bedazzled, I hope.
Well, it's something for your tree.
A Junior Brown taco-shaped cowboy hat? No.
No boot bling here. This is because that's what they sell now. Accessories for your boots. This is for your Christmas tree.
Oh.
Elizabeth Roscom gave you one
right.
ornament.
I have one ornament.
And here's look at that cute little microphone.
That's very nice.
That's sweet.
I don't get it. Why a microphone?
Because you're on the radio.
Yeah,
and you're talking to a microphone every day.
And it's got Nashville. Uh-huh. So now I can start a microphone collection with microphones with different city names on them.
Exactly.
They have, kind of a weird, kind of tchotchke-like collection of microphones. No, this is very nice.
No,
Thank
but
you very
everyone
much.
goes to Nashville because they want to, become country singers, obviously.
Yeah, isn't there a reality show about that?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
That Main Street's reality show.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much for this. Thank you.
You could add it to your Christmas tree ornament collection,
I'm going
which now you have two.
I'm going to make that tree a year-round tree with all of these ornaments now. I appreciate that. Well, speaking into the microphone yesterday was Donald Trump. Press conference to detail the nearly $6 million he has raised and distributed to veterans organizations in response to the press pressing him about the commitment that he made, what he has been talking about since January, when he skipped the Fox News debate before the Iowa caucus, held his own rally to raise money for the vets, and said he raised $6 million, and what a wonderful thing it was, which it is. And but he hadn't been terribly forthcoming with details, and there was a lot of question about whether these numbers were real, what organizations received the monies that Trump said he raised. And so he had a press conference yesterday, and I got to tell you, when it comes to cheap thrills, it's difficult to outdo Donald Trump. I mean, there was a lot of fun in that press conference.
So you liked yesterday's press conference?
I thought actually the press conference served him really well. And,
I didn't.
And here's a good example of what I'm talking about before we even get to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
How about our friend,
which one? I know them all, which is weird. Remember Jim Acosta? He used to work at WBBM.
No, I'm not talking about the sleazes in the media.
Hey,
as Trump called them.
And you're a real beauty, by the way.
I'm talking about Al Baldessaro, who is a retired Marine and a state representative in New Hampshire, who had some choice words for the media. He was a bit of a halftime show for the Trump press conference. Oh. It was fascinating. But listen to Al Baldessaro, retired Marine, New Hampshire state rep, supporting Donald Trump.
They are using veterans as political pawns. It must stop. Donald Trump is doing this for the heart. You're all focused on the way he's raising money, and you're not looking at the 22 veterans that are killing each other every day. You're not concerned about the thousands of veterans that are on wait lists. Look at his plan on his Trump's website. He talks about medical cards. He talks about fixing the VA. He talks about competition. I think the liberal media, and I've been dealing with you a long time, you need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues. Thank you.
Yeah, get your head out of your collective butt, liberal media.
Wow. Well, the thing is, I think his message got lost because he did such great work by raising $6 million for vets. Actually, 5.6, but he kicked in $1 million of his own dollars. But
That's
his
included
message,
in the 5.6.
okay, but his message got lost because it turned into him bashing the media and him sticking it to the media. The media is just asking questions. This started because CNN wanted to know who got what. Actually, what charity received what type of money. Washington Post and CNN, they both were dogged about this, they just wanted to know who got the money because he keeps saying, I'm going to raise a lot of money. I'm going to make money. Great. Well, where's the money going and to whom is the money going to?
Well,
and that's not a big deal. That's called journalism.
Well,
if anybody agrees with me or disagrees with us, 312-642-5600, because I thought he looked like a fool yesterday. And if he gets, his panties in a bunch over reporters asking about donations, well, how is he going to react when world leaders verbally spank him? What's he going to do then? How's he going to fight back then?
Well,
it seems like such a coward to me. I might change my vote.
He actually answered that question in terms of what it's going to be like, but we'll get to that because you got to give a little bit more flavor of what he offered yesterday.
Ugh.
And by the way, you don't think this was all purposeful? This was an opportunity, and he's very good at this, to set up an enemy and to say, are you going to be with me, the guy who raised and distributed $5.6 million for vets? Or are you going to be with the liberal media? And that's essentially the frame that he put that press conference in.
But I have to say this. I raised close to $6 million. It'll probably be over that amount when it's all said and done. But as of this moment, it's $5.6 million. When this started with a speech in Iowa when I said, let's raise some money for the vets. And it went up from $1 million to $2 million to $3 million. And it now ends up to be almost $6 million. And again, I think we can even do better than that. But I will say that the press should be ashamed of themselves. And on behalf of the vets, the press should be ashamed of themselves. They are calling me and they are furious because I sent people checks of a lot of money, and I'm going to give you the names right now, which is what you want. And instead of being like, thank you very much, Mr. Trump, or Trump did a good job, everyone's saying, who got it, who got it, who got it? And you make me look very bad. I have never received such bad publicity for doing such a good job. So I will give you the names if that's what you want, right? Okay, are you ready?
See, the thing about Trump, so he's standing with the vets against the Washington press corps and saying, which side of this skirmish line do you want to be on, America? And boy, isn't that an easy question to answer for the overwhelming majority of the country. And the other thing about it, and there's questions about how much he would have raised and would have donated had not the pressure from the media been sustained. I think that's a legitimate point. But here's the thing, and this is about Trump's campaign writ large. What people, frankly, generally care about, especially in this area, this era of complete loss of faith in government and other civic institutions, is outcomes. And here's the outcome. Here's the bottom line outcome. He raised $5.6 million for vets. Mm-hmm. And what has anybody else? What has any other politician ever done along those lines?
He said yesterday, Donald Trump said Hillary's given nothing to veterans. But here's the deal, Dan, and people should really pay attention to this. ABC News called all 41 of those recipients, all 41 of those charities yesterday. Some received the money months ago.
And some
because it happened January 20th.
Right.
Others received it last week.
Right.
Because he knew that he had to pony up, I think, in order to save face, because the pressure was mounting from these reporters saying, who did you give the money to, how much, and when?
But even if that's true, the question is outcome. Okay. It's the old saw. People don't care about the labor pains; they just want to see the baby, and that's what this is. All of the machinations between politicians and the media. I think most people don't care. I think they want to see substantive outcomes. And it's difficult to argue with the substantive outcome, even if it, got there in a circuitous route. A little bit more from Trump in this press conference when he went after specific members of the media.
Yes.
That was quite entertaining.
Get your hands off my Tom Yamas.
Right after this.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your phone calls coming up, 312-642-5600. I might not be voting for Donald Trump after yesterday. Whew. Your forecast. Today, we're going to have showers and heavy thunderstorms. Some storms can bring hail and some damaging winds, a high near 80 degrees. And tomorrow, no rain in the forecast. It's going to be partly sunny and pleasant, a high in the upper 70s. Any pleasantries on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte with the answer.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. There is some rain falling in the area, including around O'Hare, so allow some extra time in following distance. We have a crash reported on the inbound Edens just past Dempster, a car hitting the wall. Not seeing any delays there yet. Traffic volume still pretty light. The Kennedy is all clear. The Eisenhower as well. No delays to report yet on the Stevenson. Inbound Ryan, just a little bit congested approaching downtown. Same true of the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway approaching the Ryan. Tollways look good. A new phase of roadwork starts today on the Indiana Toll Road. This is between State Road 39 in LaPorte and 31 in South Bend. Just one lane open in each direction till July 4th weekend. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
As a parent, you're always looking for something fun to do with the kids, and I have a great suggestion. Head over to Donley's Wild West Town in beautiful Union, Illinois. It's a Western theme park just a short drive from Chicago. It's open every day now from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. One admission fee includes everything. It's fun that everyone in the family can experience together, and there's nothing else like it. Rides, attractions, panning for gold. We did that for hours. You can shoot slingshots. There's a Wild West show, a museum, a petting zoo, and great food, and a lot more. Parents, grandparents, kids, everyone will enjoy a day together at Wild West Town. It's interactive family fun, so check out the details at wildwesttown.com, wildwesttown.com, and what a great outdoor outing for groups like daycares, church groups, anybody. Wild West Town open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wild West Town. It's good old-fashioned family fun.
Guys, if you've been using or wanting to try Viagra but are worried about the costs, we have great news. Now you can finally get real results at huge discounts with our Healthy Men alternative to the little blue pill. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get results for a fraction of the price? Call today and get 40 pills for only $99. Others cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want real results at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill for Viagra when you can get real results for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-375-1270 today and save over $500. You can have those breathtaking, toe-curling moments again and again. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Call right now and we'll rush you your supply delivered discreetly to your door. Just call 800-375-1270. That's 800-375-1270. Again, 800-375-1270.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Trump press conference yesterday. By the way, on a related note, the new Filipino president, Rodrigo Duterte.
Common spelling?
Duterte.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm still getting used to it, but we better get used to this guy. He won in a landslide. He's kind of, he's been described as a foul-mouthed politician. He won on a very strict law and order platform in which he pledged to end crime in the Philippines within 6 months by killing tens of thousands of suspected criminals. He also said...
Without a trial, just killing them?
He's kind of skipping ahead.
Okay.
He also said that he was going to offer rewards for killing drug traffickers. And he said that corrupt journalists were legitimate targets for assassination. So don't give Donald Trump any ideas.
No.
Because Trump had this to say about the political press yesterday. You've heard a version of this before, but he reiterated it.
All right, so look, here's the story. I think, and I've been dealing with the press a long time, I think the political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met. I have to tell you that, okay? Of course, you're excluded, Carl.
Carl Gannon.
Carl Gannon for
Fox News.
Yeah, and then at the end of the press conference, this was my favorite moment. It really was.
Right.
A reporter asks him about his antipathy towards the press and if this is something they should get used to.
I think you've set a new bar today for being contentious with the press corps, kind of calling us losers who are faces and all that.
No, not all of you, just many of you.
Is this
Not you, David, actually.
Is this what it's going to be like?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
This is what it's going to be like. Is this what it's going to be like with President Trump press conferences? Yeah, that's what it's going to be like. I got to admit, cheap thrill for me. It's fun. It really is. Gino on the south side. Hey, Gino. Gino.
Gino.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Amy, this is targeted toward you. I noticed that you called Trump's names, but you wouldn't say what you called him toward the one that's in the White House, would you? And furthermore, the news media has covered up what Hillary Clinton has done. And furthermore, what about the $6 billion that the Clintons stole from the Haitians pertaining to the tornado over there in Haiti? So the news media is complicit in covering up the Clintons.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Gino. Greg in Schaumburg.
You know, Amy, I love you to death, but as I was waiting here, I kind of went up and smoked at you. Okay, so the man raises $6 million, and you, the news media, let's say you're representative of the news media right now, Amy, you're picking on him because in the course of a couple of months, it's showing up late. And you're going to pick on the little period of time when it came in. Things take time in the real world. And I really, really do like you. But this is what we're talking about with the news media. They do not go after things in a fair manner that goes for solutions. They're always looking to try to nail somebody. We're sick of it.
Thanks, Greg.
As usual, Amy, you're on the wrong side of everything.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
With ChicagoRadioDeals.com, seeing is believing, and you have to see the deal from Vision One LASIK Center. Get LASIK surgery on both eyes at their state-of-the-art center in Lombard for only $1,900. This is a $3,800 value. Start with a consultation at any of the Vision One LASIK centers in Arlington Heights, Chicago, or Lombard. Vision One is a private practice with LASIK specialists Dr. Brand, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Berger. Hey, are you ready for this hot deal? Bikram Yoga of Rolling Meadows has a 10-class package at their beautiful studios on Hicks Road. Bikram Yoga is a series of 26 yoga postures and 2 breathing exercises taught in a 90-minute class in a 105-degree setting. You'll be sure to sweat. This package retails for $130. It's only $50 for 10 classes. So look into Adult Boot Camp also for your best body from MFC Sports Performance in Darien. Find all of it at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. And coming up on Chicago Morning Answer, what's the name of our show?
That's it, Chicago's Morning Answer. Speaking of Hillary, former State Department IG poked holes in Hillary's defense. We'll have that at 5:38.
And I'd love to introduce Dan Proft to Maggie McMuffin. You'll hear what she did coming up. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, clouds 65, rain showers in the area this morning, and residents in rural Texas are wondering when the rain will shut off. The Brazos River has reached a record high crest. More rain expected in the coming days. Cody Cooper lives near that river in Fort Bend County, Texas.
We have friends up here in the river, along the riverbank that are stranded, rather don't want to leave their home and stuff, and we tried to commute people back and forth. 6
have died of flood-related causes during the 4 days of torrential rain. Alabama Governor Robert Bentley taking the witness stand today in the ethics trial of that state's House Speaker. Likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump says he raised nearly $6 million at a veterans benefit. Trump telling Fox News last night media's made raising that money a bad experience.
Well, they cover me so inaccurately. This was a good example because I raised $5.6 million for the vets, and it was a horrible experience with the press. I mean, they were questioning it. Did he really raise the money? Where is the money?
Trump saying reporters should be ashamed of themselves for raising questions about how that money was actually raised. General Mills this morning recalling 10 million pounds of flour over a possible link to an E. coli outbreak in 20 states. The recall is for several varieties of gold medal and signature flour sold at Safeway, Albertsons, and other supermarkets. The president travels to Elkhart, Indiana today, a city the White House says is a symbol of America's economic recovery. The president will make the argument that his controversial $840 billion stimulus package was ultimately vindicated, but the economy around Elkhart and northern Indiana still is struggling 8 years later. Cleanup crews are busy after storms hit the Chicagoland area yesterday. Heavy winds causing property damage, downing trees, and blowing the roof off an apartment building in Willowbrook. Illinois lawmakers finished their spring session without a budget and with little hope that Democrats' 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner over a spending plan will end any time soon. And a Randolph County jury has convicted ex-Bolingbrook Police Sergeant Drew Peterson, trying to hire a hitman to kill Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. Chicago sports. Last night, Dodgers over the Cubs 5-0. White Sox over the Mets 6-4. The news, a service of J.C. Penney Optical. Get to J.C. Penney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes we're seeing a war on the police.
It's been led by President Obama. It's been led by Attorney General at the time, Eric Holder. You know, the tragedy of this war on cops is not just for the cops, but for innocent people now dying in the streets because of the so-called Ferguson effect, meaning officers are scared to death to do their job for fear of getting hit with excessive force or brutality charges or a video that looks bad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
You know, most people think when the stock market falls, everyone loses money. But guess what? That's not true. There's a select group of people who reap in huge profits even when the market falls. How would you like to know what they know so you can make money in any market condition? Online Trading Academy has just produced a new video called How to Make Money When the Markets Fall. They would like to send you home with this free video when you attend one of their free half-day classes. This will help you understand how to make money when the market is up, down, or sideways. Once you understand how to make money in all kinds of market conditions, everything changes. Stop losing money. Stop losing sleep. Watch this video. Learn what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. Call Online Trading Academy now at 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723. 888-601-TRADE. Call 888-601-TRADE or online at tradingacademy.com.
5:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Roads are wet. Allow some following distance. There is a crash on the inbound Edens just past Dempster. A car smacked the wall there. Traffic volume is light. We're not seeing any significant delay. The Kennedy's still fine. The Eisenhower as well. Inbound Stevenson, just a little heavy past Pulaski. Inbound Ryan, it's stop and go from 31st in the Express, and then from Stevenson on in, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound Fond at 15. Bishop Ford, got a 2-minute delay from Cottage Grove to the Rhine. Tollways look good. Traffic is a service of Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. It's also the place with national brands like Scott's, Miracle Grow, Ortho, and Roundup, and the local expertise you need to grow the lawn and garden you've always wanted. Stop by Ace today to stock up on everything you need for the season. Only at Ace, the helpful place. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Showers, maybe a heavier thunderstorm throughout the morning. Some of those storms could bring hail or damaging winds, and a high of 79. 65 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, this already bizarre campaign is getting even a little bit more bizarre. Did you see this? A multimillionaire, a tomato tycoon. Yeah. Chris Ruffer, the founder of a California tomato processing company called Morningstar, told The Hill he's going to give at least $1 million to a super PAC supporting the Libertarian presidential candidate of presidential ticket of Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. $1 million to a super PAC for the two of them. Now, $1 million doesn't go very far nationally, but it's a start, and it could, if you direct it in a particular state to try and establish a beachhead, it could be interesting. This is, to paraphrase Puget O'Rourke, giving $1 million to the Libertarian Party ticket is like giving car keys and whiskey to teenage boys. This is fascinating.
What are they going to do with all
here.
the money, Dan? Are they going to make bumper stickers?
Well, yeah,
what are they going to do? Get phone banks together?
Just to give you an order of magnitude here with Gary Johnson's finances. Gary Johnson's campaign right now has less than $15,000 in cash on hand, and he still owes himself more than $1.5 million from his 2012 campaign. So, boy, I don't know. Could it get interesting? I mean, if Johnson and Weld can raise any real money, it could get interesting. And remember, it is not at all clear that Johnson and Weld necessarily would draw a majority of their votes from people who would otherwise vote for Trump. The polling on this suggests, at least at this point, it's rather split. Now, what wouldn't be split is if you had an independent conservative candidate. And Bill Kristol, the editor of the Weekly Standard, has been beating this drum like no one else for longer than anyone else, and he's continuing to do so. And a name surfaced yesterday.
Dan Proft.
No, but someone just as almost as obscure. Almost as obscure.
It was.
And by the way, Trump commented on Bill Kristol's relentless push for an independent third-party candidate. He took time from this discussion of vets and the money he raised yesterday to comment on Bill Kristol in this effort to find a third-party independent conservative candidate.
Okay, wait. Bill Kristol's a loser. His magazine is failing, as you know. It's going to be down. I don't think it even survives. He's getting some free publicity. But Bill Kristol, I've been watching this for 2 years. Trump isn't going to run. Then I go into a race. We go into New Hampshire. Oh, he's not going to win New Hampshire. Win in a landslide. I go every place I went. I was not going to win, but I win in a landslide. Do you think maybe he doesn't like me? Okay, how about one or two more?
Yeah, I think maybe that's right.
Did you see their tweets, though, back and forth? Bill Kristol ended up calling Donald Trump a roaring jackass because he didn't like what he said and, tried to defend himself. But the facts are the facts. Publication's not doing so well, right?
Yeah, it's a secondary issue. I don't know the finances of the Weekly Standard, but Kristol seemed to indicate that his tweet that got so much play over the weekend that there's going to be an independent candidate that is of substance, a serious person.
Well, he paid for polling to see how a third-party candidate would do, and he polled the senator from Nebraska, he polled Mitt Romney, and he polled Adam Kinzinger.
Right,
Adam Kinzinger was on with Wolf Blitzer last night on CNN, and Wolf kept trying to get him to say, well, who put you up to this? Who approached you to run as a third-party candidate? And he would not answer the question. But he said that he's definitely, just in case you want to know, he's definitely not running as a third-party candidate.
That's absurd, and frankly embarrasses Bill Kristol to even have that leaked out. That is absurd.
Well, he leaked out another new name. Well, it wasn't a leak. It was purposeful yesterday.
Well, the question was, Crystal seemed to walk away from the tweet that he made over the weekend that got so much play, so essentially suggesting, I was just joking around. And then yesterday, the name David French, friend of the show.
Yeah.
David French, a contributor to National Review Online. His name surfaced. Now, David French is a serious person who has not only served this country honorably in the military, I believe he was awarded the Bronze Star.
Yes, he was. He's a Bronze Star recipient.
He is also a dizzying intellect.
Yeah, isn't he a constitutional lawyer?
He is. Mm-hmm. He is a cultural conservative, which is most important to me, in addition to a free market type. He has been writing. I mean, he's part of the Never Trump crowd, there's no question, and he's been writing, suggesting a raft of candidates, as other people at NRO. And by the way, we'll talk to Jonah Goldberg at NRO about his colleague David French at NRO at 7:07. But French is a serious guy, but the idea of leveling him up from being a contributor to NRO to being an independent candidate for president at this stage in particular is a bit curious.
Well, they did a huge profile on him about 3 o'clock this morning on CNN about who is David French. And they talked about he has a wife and 3 kids. He lives in Tennessee. Again, that he won the Bronze Star, Iraq War veteran, constitutional lawyer. They were saying
awarded,
he was awarded, that he was a social conservative. And but the fact is that nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, you need filler at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You do.
Look, I mean, this whole independent. I mean, I love David French. I enjoy his writing immensely. The idea that he is going to be an independent candidate for president of the United States is not serious. Bill Kristol, who we've had on the show many times, and I disagree with Bill Kristol on a bunch of stuff, as I normally do with neocons, but he is making a bit of an ass of himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't even get on the ballot in one of the biggest states in the union, in Texas. That has come and gone. And if he's going to do something, I mean, if he wants to really run or put up a third-party candidate, he has to do so today. I mean, if you want to get on the ballot in North Carolina, Illinois, I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, and it's just bizarre. That it's one thing if you want to make the argument against Trump as a conservative. And Brett Stevens was on Fareed Zakaria's show on CNN over the weekend. Brett Stevens, deputy editorial page editor of the Wall Street Journal, whose writings I enjoy as well. There seems to be a couple of competing arguments about Trump within conservative circles. One is the argument made by Victor Davis Hanson in a recent piece in which he essentially said that Trump's hope in November rests on turning this election into a referendum on class and a collective national interest that transcends race and gender, emphasizing the sad fact that America mostly now works for an elite best epitomized by Clinton Inc., a corrupt elite. I think that's right. And I think that's what Trump has effectively done. And if he could color inside the lines a little bit more and be a little bit reckless with his lingo and his targets, like federal judges, then I think he would do himself better in terms of his electoral positioning. But I think Victor Davis Hanson has it right. But the Brett Stevens argument, which is somewhat where Bill Kristol and others are coming from, he offered it up in no uncertain terms on Zakaria's show over the weekend.
I most certainly will not vote for Donald Trump. I will vote least left-wing opponent to Donald Trump, and I want to make a vote to make sure that he is the biggest loser in presidential history since, I don't know, Alf Landon or going back further. It's important that Donald Trump and what he represents, this kind of ethnic, quote, conservatism or populism, be so decisively rebuked that the Republican Party and Republican voters will forever learn their lesson that they cannot nominate a man so manifestly unqualified to be president in any way, shape, or form.
Brett Stevens basically compared it to the Democrats having to be wrapped over the knuckles in 72 with McGovern. Basically, the American electorate in 72, with Nixon winning 49 states, told the Democratic Party, you're off the rails.
Right. You need to regroup.
And Stevens and other conservatives of differing stripes to some extent essentially think the Republican Party needs to learn the same lesson. What do you
They
think
might
about-
have to, because all along I've thought Donald Trump is really a Democrat, and he hijacked the Republican Party because he saw an opening there. And since he's an opportunist and he's really good at what he does, according to him, he saw that opportunity, took it, and he's going with it.
Here's what I disagree with what Brett Stevens said. I think he's kind of consuming too much of the Washington press corps pap.
Sounds very angry.
He talked about ethnic. I think it's ethic is what Trump is tapping into. Is he tapping into it in a bit of a ham-handed way, a way that I'm uncomfortable with? Yes. But I think it's ethic, and it goes to what VDH, Victor Davis Hanson, said. The idea that America now mostly works for an elite, a corrupt elite, whether you're in the public sector or to a large extent in the private sector. And it is a rebellion against the corrupt elite that lord over all of the civic institutions that are so important for Western civilization and that are crumbling under the leadership of that corrupt elite. That's what Trump is tapping into. And if you could say it more succinctly and less garishly, then I think he would do himself well. And I think he's going to beat Hillary Clinton regardless. But I think maybe he gets to Scott Adams territory of a landslide if he kind of tightens it up a little bit.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Showers and, heavy thunderstorms by this afternoon that can bring some hail and damaging winds, a high of 79 degrees. Tonight we're going to have a shower early this evening, and then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, pleasant, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Is it pretty nasty out there? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Getting there, Amy. With the wet roadways, speeds are reduced. Do have a crash on the inbound Edens just past Dempster. A car smacked the wall. There's no real delay, and no lanes are blocked. The Kennedy's still okay, but again, speeds are reduced a little. Inbound Eisenhower now stop and go from Wolf to First Avenue. 36 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 32. Inbound Stevenson, slow from Lamont Road to 83, and then Harlem to Kedzie. 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36, slow First Avenue to LaGrange Road. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, a little slow approaching the merge. Bishop Ford, got a 3 or 4 minute delay there. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are okay for now. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you currently use a CPAP system, I've got an important question for you. Are you sure you're keeping your CPAP system clean enough? Like, really sure? A dirty CPAP system is a perfect breeding ground for germs. Put that mask on, and they've got a direct line to your body. Talk about a fast way to get sick. Fortunately, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs in minutes. To introduce it to the world, they want you to try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-422-1474. SoClean eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. Supplies are limited, so don't wait. Call 1-800-422-1474. 1-800-422-1474.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text online to 67076. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, text online to 67076. Again, that's ONLINE to 67076.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I mentioned that $1 million super PAC donation in support of the Gary Johnson Bill Weld Libertarian ticket from a tomato processing magnate.
Out in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magnate.
Magnate.
Text from Steve on 88. Gary Johnson is too far behind, too little, too late. I doubt he'll catch up.
That's good.
Nobody does puns like Steve on 88.
I love Steve.
So this story, Katie Couric has apologized for being a disingenuous hack. Well, she didn't exactly put it in those words. But remember, we had the story last week. Upcoming documentary, Under the Gun, about gun rights and from Katie Couric's perspective, gun bans. She misrepresented an exchange she had with members of the Virginia Citizens Defense League. And she said in a statement, I take responsibility for a decision that misrepresented that exchange. Here's that exchange, just to remind yourself. Here's what the documentary airs, Katie Couric talking to these individuals in Virginia about Second Amendment rights.
Let me ask you another question. If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from purchasing a gun?
Yeah. And
and then music.
And in that silence, the camera pans to different members of the group she was speaking with, and it makes them appear speechless, like Katie Couric just stumped them with that zinger. Here's what actually happened. Thankfully, that somehow the uncut video got out. Here's what the members of this group, the Virginia Citizens Defense League, actually said in response to that pedestrian question from disingenuous hack Katie Couric.
If there are no background checks, how do you prevent, I know how you all are going to answer this, but I'm asking anyway. If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from walking into, say, a licensed gun dealer and purchasing a gun?
Well, one, if you're not in jail, you should still have your basic rights, and you should go buy a gun.
So if you're a terrorist or a felon?
If you're a felon and you've done your time, you should have your rights.
Well, the fact is we do have statutes, both at the federal and state level, that prohibit classes of people from being in possession of firearms. If you're under 18 in Virginia, you can't walk around with a gun. If you're an illegal immigrant, if you're a convicted felon, if you've been adjudicated insane, these things are already illegal. So what we're really asking about is a question of prior restraint. How can we prevent future crime by identifying bad guys before they do anything bad? And the simple answer is you can't. And particularly under the legal system we have in the United States, there are a lot of Supreme Court opinions that say, no, prior restraint is something that the government does not have the authority to do.
So what she actually got, especially from that second gentleman, was a tour de force response to the question, from kind of the practical nature to the legal regimes that are governing to Supreme Court cases. That's what she actually got, and this is why Donald Trump refers to the press as the sleaze.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kurt Penn, founder and CEO of Good Foods. In 2007, I was shopping in a natural foods grocery store and had a vision for a company that would produce fresh, all-natural foods with a social conscience. Signature Bank helped turn that vision into what now is Good Foods. Signature Bank President Mick O'Rourke listened to our story and learned about our business. Mick has been with us every step of the way. Signature Bank takes care of the details so we can focus on producing good foods. Signature Bank is deeply invested in our success. Good Foods is very proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
No state budget. Will the schools open in the fall, and should they? At 6:06.
And new information this morning about that Cincinnati couple whose child ended up in the gorilla pit. Authorities have reopened the investigation. But first, we go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, storms caused some damage in the Chicagoland area. Illinois fails to approve a budget as the spring session ends. Drew Peterson guilty of a murder-for-hire plot. The Dodgers end the Cubs' win streak with Arrieta on the mound. Showers and a heavier thunderstorm in your forecast. A high of 79. Weather after Fox News and WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There's a baby at a New Jersey hospital with an abnormally small head, the second one born in the U.S. with a Zika virus-linked birth defect. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has details live.
Well, the baby girl is at Hackensack University Medical Center, born to a 31-year-old woman from Honduras who is visiting here. A high-risk team decided to deliver her more than a month prematurely, and the OBGYN chief at the hospital says she is not doing well. An ultrasound on Friday confirmed the baby had birth defects, including low birth weight and microcephaly. The doctor said the mother contracted the Zika virus from a mosquito bite in Honduras, Dave.
Sonny, the Brazos River keeps overflowing in southeast Texas at its highest level on record. Several communities are underwater.
We've been here over 20 years. My family owns the place. We've never seen this before.
And more rain is in the forecast. Downpours led to the Texas floods, blamed for 6 deaths. Conservatives who refuse to back Donald Trump for president, led by Bill Kristol, have recruited an Iraq war veteran and constitutional lawyer to run as an independent, David French. Now, Trump's reaction?
Bill Kristol, he's a sad case. His magazine's failing. It's going to be out of business soon.
Now, there's a new poll just out giving Hillary Clinton a slight lead over Trump nationally. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Quinnipiac University poll shows Clinton leading Trump 45 to 41%, and that voters are falling along party lines. 86% of Republicans back Trump, 90% of Democrats favor Clinton. The poll also suggests a lot of husbands and wives may cancel each other votes out in the presidential election this fall. In a Clinton-Trump matchup, men go Republican 51 to 35%, while women would vote Democratic 54 to 30%. Dave.
Rachel, a French ship has picked up signals from deep under the Mediterranean Sea in the search for the black boxes from the Egyptair flight that crashed last month into the sea, killing all 66 passengers on board. The cause of the crash still a mystery. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy, rain showers, 65 degrees. 6:02 is our time. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Crews are busy cleaning up after storms slammed the Chicagoland area. Heavy winds causing property damage from Hinsdale to Berwyn. An apartment building's roof was blown off in Willowbrook. Authorities are still trying to recover the body of a 12-year-old Joliet boy who fell into the Kankakee River in Will County. Officials say the child went into the water in Wilmington. The boy's 13-year-old sister jumped into the river in an attempt to pull off a rescue. She was pulled to shore and pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Illinois lawmakers finished their spring session without a budget and with little hope that Democrats' 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner over an out-of-balance spending plan will end anytime soon. Illinois lawmakers have also approved a wage increase for tens of thousands of healthcare workers in 3 different programs. Those decisions await Governor Bruce Rauner's action, and GOP lawmakers complained about the increased spending, something they say the state cannot afford. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says he's addressing the issue of police and code of silence in 2 ways. AM 560's David Stewart followed Johnson yesterday at the City Club.
Superintendent Johnson told a City Club luncheon that he is first developing a mechanism for officers to report misconduct, and second is assuring that there's protection from harassment by colleagues for those officers who do the reporting.
If someone is found to be intentionally harassing an officer because they reported misconduct or inappropriate behavior, there's going to be a severe penalty for that.
Johnson also says he's consulting with other cities where the Justice Department has done a civil rights investigation, like the one underway in Chicago. David Stewart, Chicago.
Chicago police say they have some names of men in the group who allegedly chased a couple onto Lakeshore Drive over the weekend, resulting in the death of a 32-year-old woman. Dodgers over the Cubs, 5-zip. White Sox beat the Mets 6-4. And boxing's formal governing body votes to let top pros fight at the Rio Olympics. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Protect your pets with Invisible Fence brand. Keep them in the yard and away from the pool, off the furniture. Invisible Fence brand has the answer to training your pets at InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence brand installs in any weather, rain or shine. Visit InvisibleFence.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats, not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They serve juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
6:08 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. And Addison and Itasca Rolling is closed from Lake Street north to Nordic. There's a transformer fire. Inbound Kennedy delays are from before the River Road toll to Cumberland. And Sayre to Central, it's 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Edens is clear for now. Mount Eisenhower, 40 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 34. Stevenson now 45 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Traffic stop at LaGrange Road on the left side. Ryan, 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. And we have delays on I-57, 127th to Holstead with a reported crash. Traffic service of JCPenney Optical. Get to JCPenney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy today with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around into the early parts of the afternoon with a high of 79. Then an early evening shower or thunderstorm, otherwise skies clearing. Later tonight with a low 60. Partial sunshine tomorrow, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare and 66 along the lakefront. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think the political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met. I have to tell you that, okay? Of course, you're excluded, Carl.
I think the liberal media, and I've been dealing with you a long time, need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues.
It's important that Donald Trump and what he represents, this kind of ethnic, quote, conservatism or populism, be so decisively rebuked that the Republican Party and Republican voters will forever learn their lesson.
Can you think of any circumstances under which a Secretary of State would need a personal server for government business?
For government business, I cannot.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, sorry to hear about
what, the Cubs?
Your guy, Drew Peterson.
Oh, DP. Yeah. He was convicted on both charges yesterday and now faces an additional 30 years in prison.
Yeah. So he lives to the ripe old age of 975. He could be paroled. Methuselah.
I had an inside source who told me that whole thing was a hoax, that he set it up with Antonio Smith to get Antonio Smith moved to a better prison. Because that's the thing. When you're in jail, all you want is to get out of the worst jail and into a jail that's near your family so that they can come and visit.
Well, it's too bad he didn't have you as a character witness to explain this all, because the jury took, as predicted by this guy.
Exactly what you said.
It took him all of about an hour to convict, and that was with a lunch break.
Exactly. And it was with a lunch break.
Yeah.
They had snacks brought in, and they were done so quickly. So, yeah, he's going to be sentenced July 25th. And the big news today is, though, the pension board in Bolingbrook is deciding whether or not to keep his pension or to take it away, now that we've had these additional charges added. And his pension is what's keeping his kids alive. He has kids that are 11 and 12. And his oldest son is taking care of the kids. He's a stay-at-home dad taking care of the kids. And I think they need that money to survive. But it's a question of if you're a convicted felon and now you have this murder for hire charge on top of that, should you be allowed to keep your pension?
He
put in 38 years.
If you are a sociopath who's murdered your wife and suspected in another murder, and now just were convicted for trying to hire someone to assassinate the Will County State's attorney, should you keep your public sector pension?
It's $75,000.
Boy, this is a real mind bender.
Well, okay, I know you don't think you should, but of course I always think about the children who now don't have a mom and they don't have a dad and need money to survive. Because if not, they're going to go on welfare, so we're going to have to pay for them anyway.
Yeah. I think there's a message that needs to be sent with respect to convicted felon public figures, and that includes, police officers. Convicted felon. I think as a matter of course, whether you're because this is being debated with Denny Hastert too.
Right.
His state legislative pension, since his crimes didn't relate to his service as a state legislator. I don't care. It's gone. It's gone.
His school pension stopped.
Yeah.
Well, that was a blessing.
It should right, because they're directly related. It should all be gone. This is easy. This is now, there's nuances in life. There are complicated things. If you are a convicted felon who has been in a position of the public trust, and particularly violence, murder, and murder for hire, for goodness sakes, this is not a close call. Not a close call.
You would take his pension away?
Yeah. I would take his pension away faster than the jury voted to convict him yesterday. That's how fast it would go.
Well, they start discussing it publicly today. And
of
course, again, I'm a bleeding heart Republican, and I'm thinking of the kids, and they need food on the table.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the acts of the father can be visited upon the children, and that's just the case here. So I have empathy for the children of anybody who is a ghastly individual like Drew Peterson is, a sociopath, a murderer. Of course, I have sympathy for the damage that he wreaks on the lives of all of those around him, starting with his loved ones. But that doesn't justify him maintaining a pension at my expense.
His two older kids, though, have done so well, and in fact,
or the residents of Bolingbrook's expense, for that matter.
Right, but the residents of Bolingbrook helped parent the kids while the dad was gone and the mom's dead. I mean, the principal of Bolingbrook High School picked up Tom Peterson every day for school, graduated valedictorian, #1 chair, trumpet player, went on to University of Pennsylvania. I mean, he's a brilliant kid.
Great.
But I'm saying that the people of Bolingbrook all came together to help raise these kids.
Well, good for them, and that's an honorable thing to do. Drew Peterson, not honorable. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning.
Mike, go ahead.
Good morning. I just wanted to ask you, if we're going to start taking pensions away, public pensions, from people that commit crimes, how about if we start taking welfare away and public aid and link cards from these people that seem to just have kids that commit crimes? If they can't keep track of their kids.
That's a little bit different, isn't it? If you want to talk about taking benefits away from people who commit felonies, I'm on board. If you want to hold other people responsible for felonies committed, I'm not on board.
Well, what if it's your kids? What if it's your kids that are out committing crimes?
Are you responsible?
You're not being a good parent.
Well, are you think that everybody is responsible for the crimes that their kids commit? You think parents are necessarily responsible?
Maybe they should be a better role model.
Well,
and point the kids in other directions.
Do you think good parents have had kids that have grown up to not be good people despite their best efforts?
Could be, but that doesn't mean we have to subsidize them.
Thanks for the call, Mike. I mean, here's the whole thing: the circle of accountability. Let's start with the principle. I don't believe it takes a village. It takes a family, and let's just focus. If we could just focus on the accountable party for 5 seconds without wanting to implicate everybody in the bad behavior of one individual, I just think it would be so much more helpful. But that's me. Some good news out of Springfield yesterday.
Oh, there was good news?
Yeah. Well, not so much for me, but the state legislators, the General Assembly, did not get a budget done. No budget.
Shocker.
No continuing appropriation for the schools or for other public facilities. There was a play for continuing approp. That didn't go anywhere. But the House and the Senate did approve a measure eliminating the tampon tax.
They did not.
They did.
Did they really?
Yeah.
We've come so far, ladies.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Dropping of the tampon tax.
Interesting. It's interesting that...
well, it's a medical supply.
I thought there were no differences between men and women.
That's where the difference lies. We need things that you guys don't need. We have to purchase things that you folks don't have to purchase.
It's fascinating development, particularly by so many in the General Assembly who have bought onto the whole kind of post-gender world in which we're supposed to live. But yeah, this is going to the governor's desk for signature, eliminating the tax on tampons. That'll bring back Illinois. That's good stuff.
So that's all that was accomplished yesterday?
Yeah, for the most part.
Was eliminating the tampon tax.
Yeah, that was the big one. That was the headliner. I mean, in a state with
it's so embarrassing.
$15 billion in debt and the largest unfunded pension liability and the worst credit rating and frankly, schools that do not perform and on, we did get to eliminating the tampon tax. So, a baby step in the journey of 1,000 miles. What do you think? Feeling better about living in Illinois?
No.
That'll keep you here. What? What about the schools opening?
Yeah, that's of more importance.
So, part of this is a demagoguery on the part of the Springfield political class. Of course it is. And we're going to talk to Senate Republican leader Christine Radonia at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But understand, when they talk about if they don't fund the schools won't open. Most suburban school districts, period, in the state get the overwhelming majority of their funding from local property tax dollars.
Right.
So even if you don't get the money that you're supposed to get from the state, the idea that the schools can't open is a posture being taken by the eduocracy, if you will. It's a posture being taken by the politicians to continue doing what they've been doing, which is let's just continue pushing more money into schools despite no demonstrably improved results because that makes us feel better. I get to go back to my district and say, I funded the schools, and we put more money into the schools. And frankly, even the governor's fallen into this rap, and I think it's a mistake. The question is, if we are in this crisis, if the crisis is what we say it is, and what including a lot of the politicians say it is, then do we shut the whole thing down? Nothing happens until we make the structural changes to bring Illinois back from the precipice. Are you willing to have to see your school district take a hit and every other school district take a hit too, seize the whole thing up and have a moment of truth where we decide what is the future of Illinois? Or are you willing to just focus, just allow the political class to engage in this who's going to have the best going out of business sale for the state? And we're just going to limp along, spending money as we get it until we can no longer borrow. Or until we impose another massive tax increase, as the Democrats essentially have suggested they would do with the budget that Mike Madigan proposed, $7 billion gap. What about that? You willing to take the hit for schools and for other things that you want from state government in order to have this clarifying moment? Or you just want to limp along because as long as my school district gets its share or as long as whatever I access from state government is accessible, then, it's not so bad, and someday we'll start the journey back to sanity. And if it's not tomorrow, or if it's not the next day, or if it's not by the beginning of the school year, that's okay. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Because let me tell you something. All those hacks in Springfield, those little ruling elite wannabes in Springfield, all they are is a reflection on your willingness to stand and fight and to demand better. And when you don't, you get what you've seen from the General Assembly this session and the previous session and the previous 15 sessions.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Forecast for today, we're going to have some showers and heavier thunderstorms by this afternoon that can bring some hail and damaging winds, so be careful out there. A high of 79 degrees. Tonight, a shower storm early in the evening. And then tomorrow, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds. It'll be pleasant, a high near 80 degrees. Anything pleasant on the roadways, those wet roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
It's getting unpleasant in a hurry, Amy. Inbound Eden's 21 minutes. Lake Coke to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy is now a 30-minute drive from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30 as well. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 38. Northbound I-55. Traffic is slow first from Weber, actually now from 126 to 53. And we see scattered delays much of the way in. It's 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 33 from the Tri-State, outbound 40 minutes to 355 after a traffic stop at LaGrange Road. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes, I-80 to the Murray Station, 423. Tri-State, northbound, stop and go from Cicero to the 83rd Street toll, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway, very slow. Elmhurst Road to the River Road toll. The Reagan Tollway has delays from 83 onto 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Guys, shaving can be a major hassle. You don't get a tax break for doing it, especially if you're using inferior shaving products. And chances are that's what you're doing. And you're overpaying. You need to do what I did. Get yourself set up with shaving products from Harry's.com. I've been using Harry's products for a few weeks now. Razors, blades, their foaming shave gel, which I really like. And I'm getting an incredibly smooth and close shave. The products from Harry's.com are top quality. If you're not satisfied, they'll give you a full refund, guaranteed. Nothing to lose. And unlike the blades you buy in the store, Harry's blades will cost you less than $2 a blade. And they'll be shipped straight to your home. So stop wasting time and money and start using shaving products from Harry's.com. Father's Day is coming up. Get your dad a limited edition shaving kit from Harry's.com. They start at just $40 and include a razor stand, foaming shave gel, replacement blades, and a travel blade cover, much better than a tie. Go to Harry's.com right now and use promo code PROFT, that's me, and Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase. Don't wait. Free shipping for Father's Day ends on Friday, June 3rd, this Friday. So go to Harry's.com, HARRYS.com, and use promo code PROFT at checkout to get $5 off, and do it today.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? That's negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online. Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there? They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row. Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are. Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
The Greater Chicago Jewish Festival is taking place this Sunday, June 5th, at the Cook County Forest Preserve on Oakton, just west of Lehigh, featuring 3 stages of continuous music. There's an art fair and a kosher food fair. Everyone is welcome at the festival, and admission is a suggested $5 donation. For more information, visit jewishfestival.org.
Balance of Nature is my savior. I love this stuff. I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff.
I tried the Fiber and Spice. I love it. I've been drinking it like every day, like one in the morning and in the afternoon and at night, and I feel like I'm losing weight because it keeps me full and I'm not craving for anything not healthy.
It's time you had a Balance of Nature experience in your own life. Call now. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 815 talking about Drew Peterson. If he were a public sector plumber, should he lose his pension? That's like asking if he were a unicorn, should he lose his pension? What's a public sector plumber? Yeah. But if your question is like a rank and file state employee, for example, should he lose his pension? Yes, he should.
But would he, though?
The question is should.
he?
And I'm telling you what I think should happen. Talking about state government, should we shut it down if we're serious that this is a crisis and radical structural change needs to happen right away? And we need to have a clarifying conversation, 13 million people large in this state. Ron in Hoffman Estates, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy.
Hi.
Hi.
Shut it down. Show me where the switch is, and I'll go flip it. Show me where the plug is, and I'll pull it out.
All right. Thanks for the call, Ron.
You're just going to not have kids go to school next fall? Just extend their summer vacation?
Well, as I said, in most cases, that's a red herring that's offered by the unions and the tax eaters and the politicians because most of the funding is from local property tax dollars. But even to the extent it wasn't, that's the question. Yeah. You think you can get away with what's happening in the state and you're going to get off scot-free? You're not going to feel it? I mean, that is the question. Are you serious about the position that you hold? You know, you writ large, you, everybody in the audience, everybody in the state. Are you serious about it? You think these things are problems? Well, do you want to do something about it or not? Or do you just want to jawbone the issue and allow them to kind of continue slow walking this state's death like they've been doing for the past 30 years?
What can I do? I mean, I don't even have a Republican challenger for John Cullerton. I've never seen one. I've never seen a Republican challenger for my congressman, Mike Quigley.
Right.
There's not even an option.
The city's a problem. There's no question. Yep. Mark in Plainfield.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's a bad idea drafting that tampon tax because, as Reagan said, the more you tax something, the less you have of it. Think about it.
So we're going to have more tampons. Thanks for the call, Mark. Tom in Schaumburg.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Bazinga!
Tom.
From what I understand, there's also a plan being floated that Rauner supports to give Chicago nearly $500 million of our dollars for their greedy, self-serving, overpaid union pig teachers. And if Rauner does this, you can expect him to be a one-termer because that ain't no different than what Quinn would have done. This is insane. He needs to get a backbone, grow a pair, and tell Chicago, you hired the most expensive teachers in the world. Now raise taxes on your people so you can pay for them.
Thanks. Well, I mean, he's essentially been doing that. Thanks for the call, Tom.
Well, if I was you, I'd do something about it.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. Now, I've done the research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues, Dennis Prager and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106th out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. Now, that demand helps sell your home fast at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I was selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd definitely call Saul. 888-346-0666 or call Saul, SAUL.net. Call Saul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Business owners, I want you to stop and think about the one part of your organization that you simply cannot live without. What comes to mind? Your employees, your location, your customers? How about your technology? Let's face it, everything rests on your network running smoothly and efficiently. And that's where Turnkey IT comes in. They understand the value of your network and the critical role it plays in your company. They'll keep your network up and running and resolve any problems so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey IT's team of professionals will respond to you quickly. They won't roll their eyes when you ask them questions or try to dazzle you with confusing technical jargon. So this spring, Turnkey IT is offering a free security audit. That's right. Even if you have an IT guy, this free security audit will help you understand if they're keeping your data safe from viruses and hackers. Visit turnkey.pro today and schedule your free security audit and mention that Amy sent you. Again, turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should the Cincinnati Zoo be held criminally liable for that gorilla's death at 6:36?
And they're also taking a second look at the kids' parents. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 64 degrees, cloudy skies. We've had rain this morning. Egypt says a French naval ship has picked up signals believed to be from the black boxes of that Egypt Air jetliner that crashed into the Mediterranean 2 weeks ago. A flooded Brazos River has already reached a record height. Forecasters say more flooding and more rain is in the coming days for Texas. It's been a deadly week, and communities southwest of Houston are already underwater. Malaysia's government has fired 15 immigration officers. It says helped international syndicates sabotage online passport checks for years. Officials say that allowed such people as human traffickers and terrorist militants to move freely in and out of the country. 4 are dead, 10 others hurt following an explosion at a subway construction site near the South Korean capital of Seoul. Senator Bernie Sanders campaigning hard in California, saying the Democratic Party needs to court independence if they want to win.
I want to open up the doors of the Democratic Party so that everybody here feels welcome to come in.
Meantime, Republican presidential nominee, the likely nominee, Donald Trump, says he raised nearly $6 million at a vets benefit. He explained his last night to Fox News that the media has made raising that money a bad experience, and then went after Bill Kristol for looking to run a third-party independent conservative candidate.
So he's a guy I don't think he's a very smart guy. Failing magazine.
Meantime, Trump says he skipped that GOP presidential debate in January to raise that money, and then, yesterday, read a long list of organizations and amounts that were donated. Cleanup crews busy here in the Chicagoland area after heavy winds caused property damage and downed trees in the western suburbs. Illinois lawmakers finished their spring session without a budget and with little hope that the Democrats will end their 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner. And a Randolph County jury has convicted ex-Bolingbrook Police Sergeant Drew Peterson, trying to hire a hitman to kill Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
So Trump says Hillary is playing the gender card. Hillary thinks Trump is abusive to women. Hillary gets her personal newspaper, the New York Times, to write a 9-page story about it. Trump thinks Hillary's hubby was the abuser-in-chief and claims Hillary turned on the victims. Earth to candidates. We don't care. We do care about defending this country against terrorism, rebuilding the military, controlling the border, and creating good jobs. Let's talk about that. Give us a plan. That might get you elected. Stick around for more good ideas. AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
This is a warning to all household pests. To all cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. If you've just made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix. Because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has over 85 years of experience exterminating invaders like you. And right now, they're making it easier than ever for homes to be protected by offering a free pest estimate to every caller at 1-800-300-6108. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. This is your eviction notice. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will protect that home with a 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee, so you can never return. Warning, homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate at 1-800-300-6108. 1-800-300-6108.
Limitations apply. See plan for details.
636 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start around Niles Center. It's now 30 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Inbound Kennedy, looking at 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35, inbound Eisenhower. Delays start around Wolf. It is now 50 minutes from Thorndale to the post office. And outbound, it's 43 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Delays start at 1:26. It's 38 minutes from the Tri-State. And outbound, 50 minutes to 3:55. Really jammed western much of the way to LaGrange Road after a traffic stop. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 423. Northbound Tri-State jammed. Cicero to the 83rd Street toll. And from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of JCPenney Optical. Get to JCPenney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Showers and maybe a heavy thunderstorm through the midday, high 79. A shower storm expected early in the evening, then clearing skies and a low of 60. 64 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Steve Beeman Show with co-host Carol Parisi, empowering you Sunday evenings at 8 right here on AM 560.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now, and make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amabre, our
17-year-old silverback gorilla, still dead this morning, I want you to know. I think they should send him to a taxidermist, and then they could put it on eBay, and the proceeds could go to help, sturdy up that gorilla exhibit to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Too soon!
To sturdy it up.
Yeah, to put up a higher barrier so that kids can't just crawl on over it. You know, kids who aren't being properly supervised by their parents. Crawl on over it and then fall down and 15 feet into the moat.
Maybe we should have Trump build a wall.
Oh, hey-o. Well, you know what? Donald Trump agrees with me when he, reporters asked him yesterday. No, reporters asked him about, Amabre and what he thought should have happened. And where's my notes here? Why can't I find it? This is why it's so hard when your brain is scrambled eggs. But he was on my side saying, he looked as if he was holding the baby, coddling it like a mother would.
Yeah. You apparently didn't listen to the part where he said that the zoo had no choice but to shoot him, so it was the right thing.
I don't know if I think they had a choice.
Well, that's what Donald Trump
I know
said,
that's what
so
Donald Trump.
He's not on your side.
So 500,000 people agree with me, signed a petition saying, why did you kill this animal?
I just want to be clear on this. If it was your 3-year-old son, you would have rushed into the gorilla area.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And you would have shielded Amabre from the zoo response team from shooting. That's what you would have done.
No, I honestly...
It would have been like in the line of fire. You would be Clint Eastwood diving in front of Amabre to take the bullet for him.
I would have done, and I didn't say that on the air. I said that after the show yesterday. My initial instinct, if my kid fell in there, would be to go in there after him and at least distract the gorilla from my son so that my son could escape.
Oh, right. I remember seeing this at the end of Ron Burgundy.
Exactly. The same thing happened.
Yeah. You know what happened to Luke Wilson? Or wait,
was
Wilson?
it Luke?
Luke Wilson, right? Didn't Luke Wilson get his arms ripped off in Ron Burgundy, too?
Yeah.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Well, somebody who knows something about this is Jack Hanna. We mentioned it yesterday. Do we have the Hannah?
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah,
so Hannah was on the CBS Morning News, and Hannah, who I think has a fairly compelling body of work as a proponent of the animal kingdom, as a friend of animals, big and small, had this to say.
I've seen a silverback gorilla take a green coconut, which you can't even bust up with a hatchet, and go like this, beyond the strength of anything you would ever know. So what choice was made? You have human life and animal life. So what choice was made?
So, Jack, you believe the zoo made the right decision. Obviously, the Cincinnati Zoo has said a child's life was in danger and a quick decision had to be made. It sounds like you agree with them.
I agree 1,000%.
Well, he can only agree 100%.
But
1,000% really puts an exclamation point on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But other animal experts, Dan, say that the gorilla didn't beat his chest. He knew that the boy who fell into the enclosure was defenseless and would have never have attacked him. And you know what? I think is because I've watched this video over and over again, and I loved how he propped him up. He propped the little 4-year-old boy up to stand up. I think he was protecting him from the screaming, out-of-control parents who were making obscene noises, things that he's never heard before.
Mommy's right here. Mommy's done.
Oh my God. So I think the gorilla was protecting the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he dragged him a little violently through the water.
A little
for a
violently.
Few seconds, just
it's
for
a
a few
400-pound
seconds.
gorilla and a 3-year-old boy. Little violently for a few seconds.
But then he protected him. He looked like he was protecting him.
And you knew what was going to happen.
No, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I don't
So which
think...
side do you err? Which side do you err?
I know this story bothered me because I feel sick about the gorilla being shot. I feel sick about it, and I feel sick that the parents let the kid in there in the first place.
Yeah, and
the parents.
I'm still the question is pending. Then we'll take your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Can't believe I actually have to ask this question, but I guess it's a sign of the times. Which side do you err, a 400-pound gorilla or a 3-year-old toddler in his possession? What would you do? You're a 3-year-old. What would you do? On Twitter, now the couple, Michelle Gregg and Dion Dickerson, have been identified. They're being, subjected to the usual death threats from the usual maniacs. How about blaming the effing numbnut parents? Shoot them, not the gorilla.
Oh, yeah, I read all those.
I'm pro-animals. Take better care of your 3-year-old effing kid, you lazy son of a... Shoot the parents first, then the gorilla. Rant over. Feel for the gorilla. Didn't deserve to get shot. Shoot the shady mom instead.
Well, we're learning more information about the parents, too. And Cincinnati police, by the way, are taking a second look at possible criminal charges. Neglect. At first, they said no one was going to be charged, and there was such an uproar, such anger out there that they decided, let's take another look. We know that they are not married. They have 4 children together. We don't know if all 4 of them were at the zoo together. But witnesses say before the kid fell in, he was saying to his mom that he wants to get in there. I want to get in there. And the mom doesn't own a daycare center, like I said yesterday. I'm sorry. She works at a daycare center. And the dad has a pretty lengthy criminal history that spans years. Charges include burglary, firearm offenses, drug trafficking, criminal trespass, and kidnapping.
I would call that kidnapping.
Kidnapping.
I would call that prejudicial. What does that have to do with this?
Well, when they look in to see if the parents are neglected their child, I'm sure they're going to take into
Is there any indication that the parents have neglected any of their children? Do we know that?
There's nothing here. Their version of DCFS has never come into play. That's just his history, the dad's history.
So we know nothing, in other words.
No,
so
I'm saying,
all of that in terms of his background,
doesn't mean okay.
It's prejudicial. It's completely irrelevant. It would never hold up in a court of law, for example, and there's a reason for it because it's immaterial to the question of are they good parents, even despite this guy being apparently a convicted felon, and that's.
But he has turned his life around. I mean, they made a point to say that he's made a turnaround. He's an industrial worker, and
okay. So is there anything we know about them being bad parents?
There's nothing on record that they have been visited before by our version of DCFS.
So we know nothing.
Right, but that doesn't mean that
doesn't mean we can't speculate. It doesn't mean we can't say that they're bad parents. It doesn't mean that somebody who loses track of her son at a zoo. And I don't think that's the first time it's happened. And how many times does losing track of a child at a zoo or at an amusement park happen, and it doesn't have those kind of catastrophic results?
It happens every day.
Right. And so
but
we
the
should.
Kids don't end up in the pit.
So we should criminalize it. We should completely rethink. The zoo is responsible. There's also this story out of from Reuters. Police may bring criminal charges. They're looking at the zoo too.
Oh yeah.
Some nutty animal rights lunatic fringe group, Stop Animal Exploitation Now, has filed a negligence complaint against the zoo with the Department of Agriculture. The group wants the maximum penalty of $10,000.
Yeah, it's a federal lawsuit, and Michael Budke's in charge of that organization, and he filed it yesterday.
We believe this enclosure must violate either the requirements for a physical barrier around an enclosure or for a perimeter fence. If there was an adequate physical barrier, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, if there's an adequate physical barrier.
I don't know. I'm not an expert in zoo architecture. unlike everybody else who's pretending to be, including that goofball. But is the way that gorilla enclosure is set up, is that different than it is at Brookfield or other zoos around the country? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Right.
All I learned is that the USDA is in charge of deciding whether or not zoos follow the rules that they set up and establish.
But this is what I love, though. Everybody, here's what they should have done. Do you know anything about zoos? No. Do you know anything about caring for animals? No. Do you know anything about criminal law? No. Do you know anything about civil law? No. Do you know anything about the parents? No. But it doesn't stop me from saying, here's what should have happened. Here's who's responsible. Here's what the penalty should be. I mean, it's lunacy. All of this is absurd. And the reaction over this gorilla, I don't want to see, what happened is terribly unfortunate all the way around. But the international reaction is astounding to the complete lack of reaction, I say again, to, what was it, 7? What were the final numbers?
It was 8.
8 dead and 60 some odd shot over Memorial Day weekend alone in Chicago. 60 some odd murders in Chicago. Name one person who's murdered in Chicago in May. Everybody knows a Mabre, a Hambra, whatever his name is. Arambe. Oh, Arambe. And, vigils. And, Amy's constructing a papier-mâché likeness of Arambe for the museum we have in the studio.
He's my gentle giant.
Yeah,
yes.
Everybody knows him. A 15-year-old girl who was shot and killed over the weekend, did nothing wrong.
Veronica Lopez.
Yeah. Well, because you read the story.
Yesterday, yeah. I watched it again last night on Nightly News.
This is just obscene. Tom in Oswego, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Ian.
Morning.
You know what? I think this is obscene. I feel for the monkey or gorilla, whatever you call it. But we are talking about a 3-year-old boy. And, I can tell you, I'm a father of 3, and I think I'm a darn good father. My oldest son, 24, when we were 7, we were in a toy store out in Oak Brook. And for a second, I turned around, he was gone. I panicked for about 2 minutes. It turns out he was in a corner playing with a toy. But for about 2 minutes, I was outside the store, inside the store. I could not find him. It happens in an instant.
I know that's happened to all of us. And it's the longest 2 minutes of your life.
No. I'm sorry. Scramble the Oswego police. We're sending the recording over. Tom, I'm sorry. We're going to have to take you into custody.
That's okay. I still think I'm a good father, even with that effort.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it. Tony on the south side.
Hello?
Hey, Tony, you're on.
Oh, sorry. The definition of lunacy, while being a noble thought, Amy, would be to jump in to save your son. However, the reaction of a child is going to be to run to mommy, in which case the gorilla is going to come after both of you, and you'll both die. So I think you'd be wise to err on the side that Dan is trying to explain to you.
Okay. And I'd probably break a bone going down 15 feet.
Thank you, Tony.
Like those children.
Thank you, Tony, a.k.a. Diane Fossey. Alex and Zion.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. So I have a similar story like the other gentleman from Oak Brook. I was in Gurney Mills. I lost my daughter. I felt helpless. I felt enraged. I'm like, what is going on? How in the world did this happen? And like I said, it takes only a second. And so as I do feel for the gorilla a little bit, but not really, because it's a 3-year-old child. It's human life. When is it that animals have become more important than humans? And when is it that humans are now on the lower food chain, and now we have to bow to our older brothers, quote unquote, according to the evolutionary chain, that we got to bow to our older brothers, the gorillas, who have no sense. They have sixth sense, but they don't have a soul and they don't have a brain to think on their own as humans do, so we can make our own calculated decisions as adult humans. A 3-year-old does not have that capacity. A 3-year-old, like you said, will run to the mom, and then the mom will be screaming. The mom will jump in, and she'll die too. So I'm really happy that the zoo made a very split decision, shot the gorilla. I feel a little bad, but I feel more that it was safe and it was better for the humans to come out on top.
Thanks for the call, Alex.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cloudy skies. It's real dreary out there, and we could have some heavy thunderstorms before it's all said and done. With it comes some hail and high winds. A high today of 79 degrees. Tonight, a shower or thunderstorm, and then Finally, Thursday, partly sunny, pleasant, a high near 80. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Sammy, the Edens is now 35 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Tack on some delays on the eastbound spur starting at Waukegan Road. Outbound, it's 25 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook. The Kennedy, now 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 50. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 48 minutes. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 43 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 55 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, really messy from Cicero to the 83rd Street toll, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams tollway jammed. Barrington Road to 53 and Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Reagan tollway, heavy delays, 31 to Eola and Highland to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial, slope out into the Reagan tollway and Lake Street to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Carl Icahn buying Allergan, and there are some significant economic reports as well. Those stories next.
Hey, Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or your 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. But with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can see them anytime. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. You can trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. Or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Investors will have a number of economic reports to digest today. The Beige Book signaling what the Fed will do with interest rates in the next few weeks, and investors also digesting the latest data on motor vehicle sales, construction spending, and manufacturing. Activist investor Carl Icahn says he's bought a large stake in Botox maker Allergan, and he's supportive of the company's CEO, Brent Saunders. Icahn didn't disclose how much of a stake he's bought in Allergan. Great Plains Energy buying rival Westar, paying about $9 billion. The merger will create one large power provider in Kansas and Missouri with more than 1.5 million customers. Management hopes the combination will help reduce rate increases for customers through greater efficiencies and cost cutting. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check this out. If you correctly guess Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. Two easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. That easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word trial to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text trial to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text trial to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
AM 560, The Answer.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers in a variety of forms this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts, the list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are getting more deliciously sophisticated than ever, too, which means you can meet everyone's needs with even more great picnic food options.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
Your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food, entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more when you visit tastycatering.com.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're watching right now. Storm damage in the Chicagoland area. Drew Peterson guilty. And showers and a heavy thunderstorm today. WIND Chicago News Times, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. People have fled their homes by boat in parts of southeast Texas.
It's scary. We never had anything like this before.
This is the Brazos River is at a record level from all the recent rain, and more rain's forecast.
There are some cars, I believe those are the tops of cars, and a trailer, and the stop sign is a really good indicator on the other side of just how deep this water is. There are homes in this area underwater. It has actually allowed the debris to float this way, the trash to float this way.
Nate Griffin with Fox 26 TV in Rosenberg. 6 people have died in the Texas floods. They've heard pings from the depths, and the search for the wreckage of the plane that crashed into the Mediterranean last month is still unsolved mystery. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, a French vessel looking for wreckage from Egypt Air Flight 804 has picked up signals from the Mediterranean Sea that could be from the black boxes of the downed flight. The vessel La Place received the signals, according to the Civil Aviation Ministry, citing a statement from the committee investigating the crash. The search for the plane that went down last month has been narrowed to a 3-mile area in the Mediterranean. All 66 passengers on board the aircraft died. Dave.
Jessica, a tiny baby born in New Jersey yesterday, is a victim of the Zika virus. Fox's Tanya J. Powers explains live.
Doctors at Hackensack University Medical Center say the child is suffering from Zika-linked microcephaly, a condition where the child's head is only partially developed. The mother is 31. She contracted Zika in Honduras and is vacationing in the New York tri-state area. The woman's aunt told Fox News the mother is not doing well emotionally. The case is the second one of a baby with Zika being born in the U.S. The first was in Hawaii earlier this year, Dave.
Tanya, new Quinnipiac poll poll just out gives Hillary Clinton a 4-point lead over Donald Trump, with women overwhelmingly supporting her. Men back the Republican in a big way. This is Bernie Sanders keeps trying to win the Democrat primary in California, not giving up his fight for the nomination. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 64 degrees. Winds are north at 6 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott Cruz. Busy cleaning up after storms slammed the Chicagoland area yesterday from Willowbrook and Hinsdale and the Grange all the way to Berwyn. In Willowbrook, an apartment building was evacuated after a roof was torn off. Nearly 200 flights canceled because of the high winds at O'Hare and Midway. Authorities are still trying to recover the body of a 12-year-old Joliet boy who tumbled into the Kankakee River in Will County near Wilmington on Monday. The boy's 13-year-old sister jumped in and attempted a rescue. She drowned and was later pulled to shore and pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Illinois lawmakers finished their spring session without a budget, in little hope that the Democrats' 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner over an out-of-balance spending plan will end anytime soon. Rauner called the Democrats' failure to pass a budget a stunning failure. Randolph County jury has convicted ex-Bolingbrook Police Sergeant Drew Peterson of trying to hire a hitman to kill Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. A woman is dead after being struck by a CTA Blue Line train on Chicago's northwest side. Police say the incident happened last night at the Harlem station. And Chicago police say they have the names of some in that group of men who allegedly chased a couple onto Lakeshore Drive over the weekend, resulting in the death of a 32-year-old woman. The department Tuesday released high-definition CTA surveillance photographs of the men. The department says this morning none of those suspects are in custody. Dodgers over the Cubs 5-0 in spite of 7 scoreless innings from Jake Arrieta. White Sox beat the Mets 6-4. The news a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on a wide variety of packing, shipping, and moving supplies for both business and personal needs. Right now, a 6-pack of Scotch move-in-store tape is $19, ends June 25th. Everything you need to move at the right price. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Have you ever questioned whether your money is in the right place or thought that maybe you should be doing something different? Tune in Sunday mornings at 10 to In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos, founder and CEO of Wealth Management Group, LLC, right here on AM 560, The Answer. Visit them online at investwithwmg.com. That's investwithwmg.com.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
7:07 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's heavy all around. The Edens is 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy, 50 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Mannheim. Outbound, an hour and 5 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Outbound, there's a crash at 47th in the left lane causing delays. I-57, 35 minutes. I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford, 40. Tri-State southbound, slow Roosevelt to the Cermak toll. There's a crash there. The northbound side, it's jammed from Cicero to the 83rd Street toll, and from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Adams tollway, big delays, Higgins to 53 and Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Reagan tollway, slow 31 to 355, and Highland to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, then North Avenue to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around into the early afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, high 79. A shower or thunderstorm early this evening, then clearing tonight with a low of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller and Company Jewelers. All that glitters is gold at MJ Miller in downtown Barrington.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think the political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met. I have to tell you that, okay? Of course, you're excluded, Carl.
I think the liberal media, and I've been dealing with you a long time, need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues.
It's important that Donald Trump and what he represents, this kind of ethnic, quote, conservatism or populism, be so decisively rebuked that the Republican Party and Republican voters will forever learn their lesson.
Can you think of any circumstances under which a Secretary of State would need a personal server for government business?
For government business, I cannot.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What up, Dan and Amy? You heard that at the top. Catherine Herridge, the best reporter in the business and in a sector that is eminently important to national security. She got an exclusive interview with Howard Krongard, who is a former State Department Inspector General. He was State Department Inspector General under W. And he really did a nice job tubing the argument that Hillary has been making and made again last week when that IG report was issued regarding her email practices. Krongard talking about the the need or lack thereof for a private server as Secretary of State.
Secretary Rice did not have a personal server.
Can you think of any circumstances under which a Secretary of State would need a personal server for government business?
For government business, I cannot. I would have been stunned, and if she had sent one to me, I probably would have started an investigation.
I probably would have started an investigation into Condi Rice if she had done the same thing, is essentially what Krongard said. And he also went on in his discussion with Herridge to say that, these aren't accidents, that classified information is winding up on unsecured servers.
On claims 2,100 Clinton emails were not classified when they were sent or received, Krongard casts more doubt.
I don't understand it because it was either classified by the creator or it was classified by reason of where it came from.
And moving information from classified government systems to an unsecured personal server is a deliberate act.
It could be done by taking a screenshot with a photo, with a camera. They could just be summarized, or they could be copied from a secure copier.
It doesn't happen by accident.
No.
No. And this from Dan Metcalf. He is a law professor at American University. He wrote in a Sunday column, given the facts and law are so clear in Miss Clinton's case, it is difficult to imagine her not being indicted. He was, by the way, an official in the Justice Department's Office of Information and Privacy for 25 years, including during Bill Clinton's tenure as President of the United States. Difficult to imagine her not being indicted, given how clear the facts and the law are in this case. Well, for more on this, as well as the other side of the aisle, Mr. Trump's candidacy, we're now joined by David French's vice presidential running mate, Jonah Goldberg from National Review, senior editor at National Review, nationalreview.com. Jonah, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's great to be here. If asked to serve, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve, or however that thing goes.
Yeah, that's very nice. So what about that? You wrote recently about Hillary and Bill. They are both unapologetic liars, and you tried to explain why. I assume because it's profitable.
You assume it's profitable for me to write that they're liars, or you assume it's profitable for them to be liars?
It's profitable for them to be liars. It seems to be.
Well, maybe both. But hey, I think. Look, the thing is that the way I put it, at least, or the way I think about it, is that ultimately the Clintons have no first principles other than advancing their own political ambitions. Every other principle that they have is like a pair of shoes that you need for a certain terrain, or a golf club you need for a certain hole. They pick it up when it's useful, and they put it down when it's no longer, no longer suits their purposes.
I like that analogy.
And so, just think about all the positions Hillary Clinton has held over the years, from gay marriage, to free trade and all these things. She takes them up when they're useful to her, and she puts them down when they're not useful to her. Bill Clinton is the guy who, in order to prove that he was tough on crime, took time off from his campaign to execute a mentally retarded guy who literally told his prison guards to save his pie, and he'd come back for it later as they took him to the electric chair. These people are willing to do anything, and say anything. And the only constraint on the degree to which they will lie or cheat hinges upon the penalty of either political harm or force of law, which is why when they do tell the truth, they do so incredibly grudgingly and legalistically, because they bump up against the power of law in a deposition, and so they start waxing metaphysical about the meaning of is. And they start.
They almost act like a victim too. Like, they're coming down on me because this is a right-wing conspiracy, when it's really her own State Department that came up with, this report, the IG report, and she should have asked for approval to use a private email address and server, but she didn't, because she knew if she asked, they would have said no.
Yeah, look, my problem with all of these recent revelations in the IG report and all that, and I grant that it's news, they're fresh new details, it's interesting, it puts the story back on the front pages, that's all to the good. But what frustrates me about it is there's nothing in this report that that changes what I thought about the story a year ago.
Right.
You know, the thing, and I'm sort of a broken record on this, but for a year we've been getting this slow trickle of classified emails proving time and time and time again that what she did jeopardized national security. And each and every time one of these emails comes out, some defender says, well, there's no smoking gun here. And it drives me nuts because, first of all, when you're confronted with evidence or the charge that you committed a crime and you respond, hey, there's no smoking gun, that's not a denial.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we don't have this standard in the law where the cops come upon a crime scene, they see someone murdered, and they find all sorts of evidence pointing to the murderer, but then they say, damn it, there's no smoking gun here. I guess we can't investigate this crime.
Yeah, it's like a scene from Police Squad.
It is. To say that you have no proof that I did this is what serial killers say, who are very careful in covering their tracks when the cops come to their house. And second of all, we have a smoking gun. It's the server. It's just sitting there all smoky-like. You know, she set up this clandestine, illegal server in order to get around FOIA requests, congressional investigations, and the Federal Records Act. It was obvious to anybody who had common sense that that's what she was doing. She broke the law. She broke the rules. She did it all, and she claimed, I'm just like Colin Powell because he had like an AOL account or something back at the dawn of the Internet. It is so transparently obvious that she's lying, but what the Clintons always do is they muddy the waters, they complicate things, they drag it all out, they stonewall, and then when there's new evidence confirming what we knew a year ago, they say, this is all old news. And they've been doing that for 30 years, and it's just so obvious to me because, I've been in the trenches, beating on the Clintons for a long, long time, and I just find it so familiar and bogus, and yet we always have to go through this kabuki dance with every new Clinton scandal.
Well, your colleague, National Review, Andy McCarthy, suggests that the Torricelli protocol may need to be invoked, and that's not a chess opening. He's referring to the Jersey Senate race back more than a decade ago where Robert Torricelli, an incumbent, was so badly beset by corruption investigation that they had to bring in 80-year-old Frank Lautenberg to replace him in the middle of the election. And so this has been, of course, the rumor that if Comey refers her for charges even, and ultimately that will leak out if it does come to pass, that she will be irreparably damaged, and then Biden and Elizabeth Warren parachute in. Is that your belief as well, or do you reject the premise?
Well, no. I think given the assumptions that Andy makes, I think he's absolutely right. Or not absolutely right. I think it's absolutely plausible. The problem is that I'm not sure I share the assumptions. I think Hillary Clinton steps aside for somebody else. It's like, that's like getting her to let go of her broomstick. It's just not going to happen easily. And I just don't. And so that's one problem. The second problem is I think that it would be, from the perspective of somebody who thinks both of these choices, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, are essentially crap sandwiches, and I don't want to eat off of either plate. I think it would be fantastic news if they did this, because Bernie Sanders and his supporters would openly revolt. And the idea that somehow you're going to parachute in Biden or John Kerry or some other Democratic establishment pick over Bernie Sanders and the Sanders revolution, I mean, the party would feel the burn like you wouldn't believe, and I think Sanders would be totally justified in pulling a Ralph Nader and running third party. And if he runs third party, all of a sudden the logic of an authentic conservative who's not corrupt, like either Trump or Clinton, running as a fourth way becomes at least more plausible and have a more legitimate path to actually succeeding.
And so your buddy David French, is he taking Bill Kristol's offer seriously to be a third-party conservative candidate?
Well, I've been texting with David. I found out about this a couple hours before everybody else yesterday. I'm a huge fan of David's. He is a man of deep religious faith and integrity. He's a man of great honor and patriotism. He dropped everything to go fight for America overseas. He won a Bronze Star. He's a brilliant lawyer who's been fighting for religious liberty. I am a huge, huge fan of David French's. Whether this whole thing is good for him or for the cause that David believes in, which is giving America another choice, I haven't made up my mind yet. I think the attacks on David French and his family that already started last night on Twitter are disgusting and reprehensible, particularly given that you have one, guy, Donald Trump, who brags about cheating on his wives and has been married 3 times, and then you have Hillary Clinton, who comes from a, shall we say, less than perfect marriage, and then you have David French, who's this loving, serious, committed husband who dealt with being deployed overseas, which is difficult for any family, in a humane way, and people are making fun of him and mocking him. This is a guy who's adopted kids. He's a very serious family guy, and I think all that stuff is disgusting. And when friends get attacked like this, it makes me inclined to sort of put down everything and rally to their defense. But politically, I just haven't made up my mind whether this makes much sense.
Yeah, and despite your Sherman-esque statements, it's good to hear you're rallying to David French's aid on that. But so you're suggesting that he's seriously considering this?
I think he's a man of very serious conscience, and I think that he wrote a piece 2 weeks ago begging Mitt Romney to run. I don't think this is something that has ever been part of a long plan of his. I don't think he's ever been scheming or thinking about this. I think if you talked to him 3 weeks ago and said, "You're our guy, you got to run," he would have laughed as much as I would laugh if someone said that to me. But at the same time, no one is stepping up. No one is jumping into the breach. And I think that David is sort of a Thomas More type, and he feels like, and again, I don't know this firsthand, and I think he's really agonizing over this. I know he has not made a final decision, but he's really agonizing over this, and he wants the voters to have a better choice. He thinks both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are unacceptable for various and sundry reasons, and I agree with him. And I just worry that what this will do to his family isn't worth the price, particularly if it doesn't yield any tangible results, on Election Day that really matter. And so I worry about that. We're supposed to talk soon, but this is all. I mean, he's bunkered away with his family and some advisors trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, it's a serious thing.
That would be my concern too. I mean, I'm a huge David French fan as well. I love his work, but I would just be concerned that he gets basically strangled in the crib, just swamped by overwhelming resources and the Trump infrastructure essentially that's already in place.
No, I agree with that. And one of the great ironies, though, is that we constantly hear about how Trump's base are sort of white male working class guys, and I think that's true analytically. And David French fits the demographic of exactly those guys almost to a T. He comes from, he lives in rural Tennessee. He's a big gun guy. He's an evangelical Christian. He's sort of a Harvard-educated redneck in a lot of ways, and I mean that in the most generous way possible. And in so many ways, compared to sort of a billionaire dandy from the east side of Manhattan, it's just kind of ironic that everyone's screaming that, if you're a populist, you have to vote for the billionaire from New York and not the hunting and fishing evangelical Christian from rural Tennessee.
All right, Jonah Goldberg, senior editor, National Review, nationalreview.com. Jonah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
And David French was awarded the Bronze Star.
Correct.
Yes. Today we're going to have showers. It's pretty nasty out there. Some heavy thunderstorms by this afternoon that can bring some hail and some damaging high winds, a high of 79 degrees. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms continue. And then tomorrow morning, it'll be partly sunny, pleasant. No rain in the forecast. Just a beautiful day, a high of 79 degrees. There's no beauty on the roadways. Here's a busy man this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, no winning here. The reward, or award in this case, is nothing but delays. The Kennedy is an hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The express lanes only say 4 or 5 minutes. Outbound, it's an hour and 10 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, now 45 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Make it an hour 25 now from Thorndale to downtown. Outbound an hour 10. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound slow Roosevelt to the Cermak Toll, northbound jammed from I-57 all the way to 31st, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway very slow, 59 to 53, and Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway. There are delays from 31 to 355 and 22nd to the Tri-State. The Veterans Memorial has heavy delays most of the way from the Des Plaines River Bridge up to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com saves you money so you'll have room for improvement, home improvement, that is. The Grout Medic, offering shower touch-ups for only $110 to make your shower and tub area look like new again. It's a steam cleaning and sanitizing process on all your tile surfaces. Now, the Grout Medic will reseal your grout, hand buff the tiles, and replace the caulk. It's a $250 retail value. And wait until you see the before and after results. It's a picture you can post on your Instagram.
I'd like to see that caulk.
Okay. Also, from the Grout Medic, it's a clean and color seal floor cleaning that includes steam cleaning your grout, washing the tiles, and applying a color sealer to match. This process normally retails for $250, only $110 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. So make your way to ChicagoRadioDeals.com, where they offer quality items at huge savings on home improvement, such as duct cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, carpet care, home remodeling, and more. Find it all at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services. Because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his VP running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check this out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. Two easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
You don't need an air-conditioned steering wheel or high-performance supercharger to use Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. Now just $5.99 a quart at Napa. Mobil 1 offers premium protection for all cars, premium or not so premium. So give your ride Mobil 1 synthetic just $5.99 a quart, even if it doesn't have the latest technological stuff. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 6/30/16.
Safety, safety, safety. I'm saying it 3 times. Studies show you need to hear something 3 times to remember it. So remember, safety, safety, safety is important to me, me, me. That's why I love Grainger. Grainger has the products to help keep our facilities safe and people safer. Say it with me, kid. Safety, safety, safety from Grainger, Grainger, Grainger. When you think safety, think Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're going to take a vacation this year, why not make it a vacation you'll remember for a lifetime? Imagine a trip that's more than just a vacation. Imagine taking a trip that brings history to life, history that includes the Greek Parthenon, the Acropolis, Malta, Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, and many other places. This is exactly what you'll experience on the Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise. It's happening this fall aboard Celebrity Cruise Line's Silhouette Cruise Liner. Experience the sights and sounds of the places where faith, culture, and history intersect. This 15-day trip includes stops in Italy, Greece, Israel, Malta, and Turkey. You'll travel in luxury on a premier cruise ship with deluxe accommodations and all meals included. Don't take another vacation. Take a trip that you'll remember for a lifetime. For more information and to book your trip, visit footstepsoftheapostlestour.com. That's footstepsoftheapostlestour.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we're going to have an animal behaviorist, a woman from the Chicago Coalition for Animal Rights who's actually studied silverback gorillas, and she'll tell us whether or not that animal should have been shot. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. A thunderstorm in the area, 65 degrees. Searchers may be closer to finding the black boxes from the Egypt airplane that crashed into the Mediterranean Sea last month, killing all 66 on board. Signals have been picked up by French naval ship. Some rural southeastern Texas communities are bracing for more flooding. Along the Brazos River, it's reached a record high southwest of Houston. This, a river that 2 years ago had run bone dry in places because of drought. A new poll out today shows Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton leading Republican Donald Trump in a tight national race. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is with the Clinton campaign in California.
With 1 week to go until primary day, Governor Jerry Brown endorsed Hillary Clinton. He said she is the path forward to stopping Donald Trump. Brown ran for president against Bill Clinton back in 1992 as an outsider candidate.
I think that there's no love lost between Jerry Brown and the Clintons, and they have a very long history. I'm not sure, frankly, how much difference these endorsements make.
Because Loyola Law professor Jessica Levinson notes this race is about outsiders. Hillary Clinton canceled an event in New Jersey Thursday to come back to California for multiple days of campaigning here ahead of the primary. But a new poll out from Stanford's Hoover Foundation gives Clinton a 13-point lead over Sanders. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Most of the veterans groups for which likely GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump raised money say they've gotten their checks. The Daily Beast website contacted 15 of the charities Trump named in a press conference yesterday, and many reported receiving that money in the past 2 weeks. Doctors believe a newborn in New Jersey is the first baby in the nation born with Zika-related birth defects. Since the recent scare began, that baby girl was born in Hackensack. Her 31-year-old mother contracted the virus while in Honduras. Cleanup crews are busy after storms slammed the western suburbs of Chicago yesterday. Authorities are still trying to recover the body of a 12-year-old Joliet boy who fell into the Kankakee River near Wilmington on Monday. And a Randolph County jury convicts ex-Bolingbrook police officer Drew Peterson, trying to hire a hitman to kill Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. Dodgers over the Cubs, 5-0. White Sox topped the Mets 6-4. The news, a service of Staples. Staples with a low price on a wide variety of packing, shipping, and moving supplies for both business and personal needs. Right now, a 6-pack of Scotch Move and Store tape, $19, ends June 25th. Everything you need to move at the right price. Staples, make more happen. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or Independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Life can be stressful, and sometimes you just need to get away for a day to relax and recharge. Chicago is full of fun and interesting things to do. With a centralized network of L stops and bus routes just steps away, the Hyatt Centric is the perfect getaway to enable you to see everything Chicago has to offer. Visit the AM 560 The Answer mobile app and register to win an overnight stay at the Hyatt Centric, the Loop, Chicago. Act now. The contest ends Sunday, June 12th.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Howard. In my travels, I occasionally hear a Balance of Nature ad on the radio. These products are the culmination of my life's work, and I'm often surprised at my emotions that arise when people talk about how they have improved the quality of their life.
My knees don't hurt no more. Usually, when I walked up the stairs, my kneecaps used to crack and crinkle. They don't do that anymore.
I just think it's wonderful. I did not come up with allergies this spring so far, and it's already almost the middle of May, so I think that's good.
These people are real. I'd like to thank the Balance of Nature customers for trusting me and for allowing me to help them in their pursuit of health.
Call now. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services. Offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Let's get the latest on the roads at our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The update with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Kennedy is an hour and 10-minute drive either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eden's 45 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 35. The Eisenhower, an hour and 25 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour 15. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound at 55 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State jammed on the northbound side from I-57 to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway from 59 to 53 and Elmhurst to Lee. Big delays on the Reagan Tollway from Orchard to 355. The Veterans Memorial at Slains River Bridge most of the way to 290. Traffic service with JCPenney Optical. Get to JCPenney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Showers and maybe a heavy thunderstorm throughout the midday, high 79. A shower or storm returns early in the evening, then clearing skies after midnight, a low of 60. 65 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals. Get more money for your home by listing with a real marketing expert.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, the gorilla that was shot at the Cincinnati Zoo that has become an international cause celeb.
Repeat after me. His name is Arambe.
Yeah, name was, past tense.
Oh, too soon.
I mean, we're literally having the discussion about criminal liability for the mother of that child that made its way into the gorilla area at the Cincinnati Zoo, talking about a group that has filed a complaint with the Department of Agriculture to hold the zoo criminally liable.
Yeah, they filed a federal lawsuit yesterday.
You even have some people, some lunatics on Twitter saying all kinds of stupid things, but you have some people trying to have a legitimate discussion about whether human life is more important than the gorilla's life. Whew. Well, for more on this case, we're now joined by Dr. Valerie Shellcraft. She is a independent psychologist for animals in captivity, and she's also done some affiliated work, as I understand it, for the Chicago Coalition for Animal Rights. She's a PhD, and she's an animal behaviorist with a PhD, and she's got a master's in experimental psychology. And Dr. Shellcraft joins us now. Doctor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. And so give us your reaction to what occurred at the Cincinnati Zoo and whether you think ultimately the zoo made the right call.
Yes, of course, I've been talking about it just like everybody else has, and I've been participating in some online discussions as well. The problem I have with it is that this is not the first incident like this. This problem keeps happening at zoos. And if zoos continue to exist, then they have to start protecting the animals from the zoo visitors. The boy in Cincinnati was not the first to fall into a gorilla exhibit. In fact, in the past couple of decades, there were 2 toddlers who each fell into different gorilla exhibits. The first one in 1986, the second one in 1996. The first one was at the Jersey Zoo in England, but the second one was right here at the Brookfield Zoo. In both cases, the gorillas were in direct contact with the children, but the keepers were able to get the children back without killing the gorillas.
Well, why weren't they able to get the child away from this 17-year-old silverback gorilla? Did they even try, or are they just telling that to make us feel better?
I think there is some degree of the latter and some justification of the actions taken. One issue is having to do with the way that the gorilla Harambe was interacting with the child. Myself, as well as 2 other primatologists, have spoken up about the interactions, and all of us see many calm behaviors. For example, Harambe was standing the boy up, even holding his hand, and standing over the child as if to guard. It's my opinion, as well as 2 other primatologists who have spoken up, that it's really the stress from the people yelling that agitated Harambe much more than the presence of the child himself.
Yeah, but okay, but you're not going to stop the people yelling. Not everybody at the zoo is not a primatologist, and so they just see a 400-pound gorilla and a 3-year-old toddler. And so explain what you mean by the second half of what you said, by the actions of the zoo justified in that context.
Well, of course, if we're talking about what happened right then and there, and not everybody is able to recognize what the gestures and what the postures meant, then with that misunderstanding, we're going to end up with tragic events like this. But really, what the point is that this should never have happened to begin with. There should never have been the opportunity for a child to fall into the gorilla exhibit.
And so what does that mean? What should zoos, whether it's Cincinnati or elsewhere, do that they're not doing?
Yeah, good question. For example, we need, of course, at the very least, barriers that can prevent people from either climbing in or falling in. Just in the last decade at Brookfield Zoo again, a woman climbed over a fence and reached in to touch a northern gray wolf. The wolf was blind, sleeping, and startled, grabbed her arm, bit her, and the wolf was shot. At the San Francisco Zoo, a Siberian tiger in 2007 was taunted by visitors, and that tiger was later able to escape her enclosure, attack them, and that tiger was shot to death. And just 2 weeks ago, a man jumped into a lion exhibit at the zoo in Santiago, Chile, and the zoo shot both of the lions. So somehow it's just too easy for people to be able to get into these enclosures.
Well, I mean,
like an electronic fence, so they get zapped.
I mean, adults versus kids is a whole kind of a different thing. But,
right.
But I mean, I know you've given some examples, but I mean, is this a systemic problem? It's not. You talked about the gorilla enclosures, and this has happened twice in the last 20 or 30 years. Well, given the number of visitors that go to zoos across the nation annually, that seems like an infinitesimal percentage in terms of chances. And I know we want it to be zero, but nothing is fail-safe.
Well, there's many things that can be done. I have to ask what type of education is going on. It's usually thought of a zoo as a place where people can learn about the animals. But when I go to zoos to look at the environments in which the animals live, see what types of behaviors they're showing as a result of captivity, I also note that many of the visitors are knocking on the glass. You'll see kids kids making fun of the animals. They might be making, like, beat on the chest themselves. There's videos that go viral on the internet of showing the animals' reactions to some of the challenges that children are giving. And even just staring at primates can be a challenge. People don't know about that. How come they don't know about that? My suggestion is that zoos become more like animal sanctuaries. Instead of admitting yourself to the zoo and just being able to go on your own, I think zoos need to give guided tours. I think that way visitors will have no choice but to learn something. At this point with zoos, they'll only learn if they go and they read the signs. But how many people are actually reading the signs to learn something about the animals? If they were given tours, they'd be taught how to view the animals in polite and non-invasive ways.
And the USDA is in charge of regulating zoos. Do they just go there and make sure that they're following procedures, or do they set up the procedures and the guidelines that zoos have to follow?
Yes, I think that any procedures and guidelines moving forward should be to benefit the animals. I think the animals need to come first at the zoo. Right now, there's a lot of emphasis on entertainment for the humans and not as much for the benefit of the animals. If zoos became more like animal sanctuaries, which are places that put the well-being of the animals first, then people would be able to support sanctuaries, visit, like I said, with guided tours, and even volunteer and directly help.
Yeah.
They do more than just point and stare. They learn by being directly involved with helping the animals.
We're talking to Dr. Valerie Shellcraft. She's a animal behaviorist, PhD. Doctor, I mean, I understand your desire that everybody be as intellectually curious as you are. That's just not the reality. I mean, I go to the Shedd Aquarium. If I decide that I want to jump in with the dolphins, then I'm going to be yanked out of there, and I should be, right? I mean, to some extent, this idea of kind of regulating these environments in such a way that you're trying to force people to experience them the way you want them to experience them seems a little draconian, and not to mention in terms of budgets for these places, a little difficult to understand how the finances would work if it's less free and open and more regimented.
Interesting idea. I think, though, that it really could work. I think right now, the way it is, there's quite a bit of money spent on animals and in terms of breeding and the types of manipulations that the animals have to go through. It might be then, if that type of program wasn't implemented, then we at least need to put a lot more distance in between the people who visit the zoos and the animals, not only in terms of barriers for safety, but just in terms of space, so the animal doesn't have to directly even see the human visitors. There's a large field of research on how visitors affect the animals in the zoo.
Why even have zoos?
And the results show that even just their presence every day causes stress.
So are you, I mean, you said at the outset, if zoos are going to continue to exist, do you think zoos shouldn't exist anymore?
I think they should exist in the form of animal sanctuaries, like I said. There's a lot of breeding that goes on, and often the breeding is detrimental to the individual animals in the sense that, for example, zoos will split up animals and send individuals to other zoos to breed. Sometimes those animals will come back. By the time they come back, there's been a new social structure that's resulted. And it's just not that easy to move animals around back and forth like pawns. Just the impact of Arambe's death on the two remaining gorillas, that's going to change the dynamics quite a bit. And just bringing another male in to complete the picture, that male is not going to replace Arambe. That was a family structure that had intense bonds. Zoos often break those bonds when they send the animals around for breeding.
All right. She is Dr. Valerie Shellcraft, an animal behaviorist, done some affiliated work with the Chicago Coalition for Animal Rights. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Soggy start to your day. Showers, thunderstorms. It's just going to be a yucky day. We're going to have heavy thunderstorms by this afternoon, which could bring hail and some high winds, a high of 79 degrees. Tonight, a shower and thunderstorm. Then by midnight, it'll clear. And tomorrow, just a beautiful day, partly sunny, a high of 79. A busy man this morning is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Edens is now 55 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 45. The Kennedy, an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 40 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, and outbound, an hour and 15 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and a half from Thorndale to downtown, an hour 10 from Mannheim. Outbound, an hour 15 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound very slow. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue at 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound stop and go 132 much of the way to Deerfield Road. Northbound huge delays from the Bishop Ford around I-80, 8094 most of the way up to 31st Street. And it's slow from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are very heavy as well. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Oh, Father's Day is right around the corner, and think about how much your father means to you. So get him a pillow from My Pillow. It's a gift of a great night's sleep. Plus, it's a health issue. I know this is gross, but 82% of people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less. That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable My Pillow, and so does your dad. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and a great health investment. And you'll sleep better. I know I do. That's why My Pillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. So visit mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy for the 2 pillows for the price of 1 offer. Keep one for you, give one to Dad. Do it now, 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Amy, 800-489-0201.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text online to 67076. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, text online to 67076. Again, that's ONLINE to 67076.
The Greater Chicago Jewish Festival is taking place this Sunday at the Cook County Forest Preserve on Oakton, just west of Lehigh, featuring 3 stages of continuous music. There's an art fair, a kosher food fair. Everyone is welcome at the festival. And admission is a suggested $5 donation. For more information, visit jewishfestival.org.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
When philosopher and novelist Ayn Rand was interviewed on the Johnny Carson show in 1967, Carson asked her if she believed in God. She said simply, "No, I do not." Ayn Rand rejected religion and laid out a code of morality based on reason, not faith. When asked to describe her philosophy, she said, quote, "I am the creator of a new code of morality, which so far has been believed impossible. A morality not based on faith, not on arbitrary whim, not on emotion, not on arbitrary edict, mystical or social, but on reason. A morality which can be proved by means of logic, which can be demonstrated to be true and necessary." Find out more about Ayn Rand's revolutionary philosophy at ariradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Mark your calendar, Chicago, for Tuesday, June 7th at the Langham Hotel for the 5th Annual Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. This event has everything: a worthy cause, engaging speakers including AM 560's Joe Walsh, a beautiful venue, and fantastic food. Plus, it's your chance to target your support of the Ayn Rand Institute for students in the Chicagoland area. Complete details are online at aynrand.org/Chicago. That's aynrand.org/Chicago.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a recent Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own recent Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com. Check it out now, froyofranchising.com.
What's your caliber? Black Rhino Concealment knows many AM 560 listeners carry or plan to and want the best holsters. I sure do. For concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting, Black Rhinos are comfortable and safe. Every holster is handcrafted by veterans of 100% virgin Kydex with American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest holster at a modest price. Backed by a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment, we hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That number again, 847-783-6499.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. Statistics show that most people will listen to this commercial 7 times before they finally purchase Balance of Nature. Don't be a statistic. Take action to determine your future.
I'm a big supporter of the product. I think it did wonders for me. 2 winters ago, I had, between November and March, I had 5 head colds, and each time it was like a 2-week ordeal. Last winter with your product, I didn't have a single one.
I love it. I really do. I have more energy. I sleep better, and my bowels are becoming more normal.
Begin giving your body the fruits and vegetables it needs every day. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day health challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
No state budget, which means no tax increase, but where do we go from here? We'll ask State Senator Christine Radogno, Senate GOP leader, at 8:08.
And later, how Dan Proft and you are helping to send a CPS chess club to Washington, D.C. But first, here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, storms caused damage in the Chicagoland area. Showers and storms in your forecast today. WIND Chicago News Time, 8.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They've found pieces of the plane and body parts so far, but now they're hearing sounds from deep in the Mediterranean that could lead to answers to the unsolved Egypt Air flight mystery. Fox's Jessica Gallagher is live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, the French Navy confirming the ship Laplace arrived in the search area of the Mediterranean and picked up the signals overnight local time. The pings could be heard from the The pings could be from the black boxes of Egypt Air Flight 804 that crashed into the Mediterranean last month, killing all 66 people on board. The vessel is equipped with 3 detectors designed to find signals from the flight recorders. The black boxes could shed light on why the plane went down. Dave?
Jessica, several communities are underwater near Houston, and it could get worse as the Brazos River keeps rising to a record high.
I said the water's going to come up, but get out, but where do you go?
Some people have had to be rescued by boats. 6 have died in the Texas floods, and more heavy rain is forecast. Bernie Sanders will hold more rallies in California today, 2 of them not giving up on the Democratic nomination, as he thinks he can win next week's primary if there's a big voter turnout. Now, this comes as a new poll gives Clinton a slight lead over Donald Trump nationally. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Clinton leads Trump 45 to 41% in a Quinnipiac University poll, which found voters don't particularly like either candidate. Voters polled say they think Trump is more honest and trustworthy, while they think Clinton is more intelligent. Most said they'd rather invite Trump to their backyard barbecue than Clinton, but more people would trust Clinton in a crisis situation. In fact, when it comes to nuclear weapons, voters would trust Clinton rather than Trump 55 to 33%. Dave?
Rachel, amid a record recall of tens of millions of cars and trucks with defective Takata airbags, a new report from Senate Commerce Committee Democrats says Fiat, Chrysler, Mitsubishi, and Toyota and Volkswagen continue to sell new vehicles with those airbags. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Showers and thunderstorms crossing the area. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Crews busy with cleanup after storms slammed the Chicagoland area yesterday. Heavy winds causing property damage and downed trees in Hinsdale, LaGrange, Brookfield, Riverside, and Berwyn. Apartment buildings hit by heavy winds in Willowbrook. One building had to be evacuated after a roof was torn off. Authorities are still trying to recover the body of a 12-year-old Joliet boy who fell into the Kankakee River on Monday. Officials say the child went into the water in Wilmington near a dam. The boy's 13-year-old sister jumped in to try and attempt to rescue. She was pulled under by swift currents, then taken to shore and pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Police are searching for a suspect they believe sexually assaulted a woman inside her Schaumburg home. Authorities say the man broke into the victim's townhouse early Sunday and groped her while she was sleeping. She woke up and the suspect fled. Taxpayers in DuPage County will be paying less when buying something at the store. Tribune says county sales tax on general merchandise dropped by a quarter of a cent today. Officials estimate the decrease will save taxpayers around $36 million. Illinois lawmakers finished their spring session in Springfield without a budget. Right now, there's little hope that Democrats will end their 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner, who called the latest spring session a stunning failure for Democrats. A batch of mosquitoes in northern Illinois, this year's first detection of West Nile virus in the state. The North Shore Mosquito Abatement District collected a positive mosquito batch last week in Glenview. Dodgers over the Cubs, 5-0. White Sox beat the Mets, 6-4. The News, a service of Staples with low prices on a wide variety of packing, shipping, and moving supplies for both business and personal needs. Right now, a 6-pack of Scotch Move and Store tape is $19. Ends June 25th. Everything you need to move at the right price. Staples, make more happen. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of turnkey.pro. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, United Health Group says it will stop offering plans under the Affordable Care Act in all but 6 states. The insurance company was providing coverage in 34 states, but says it's losing money in most of those locations. Corporate tech services company Salesforce.com is buying Demandware, which provides enterprise cloud services. It's a cash deal valued at $2.8 billion. Michael Kors says its handbags and accessories are even more popular in the Americas. Its earnings increased in its recent quarter. Ski resorts cannot be held liable for people killed by an avalanche within their boundaries, says the Colorado Supreme Court. The court ruled in the case of a man killed in 2012 after being caught in a slide at the Winter Park Ski Resort in Colorado. The Dow closed down 86 points yesterday, NASDAQ up 14, and the S&P down 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Republican Party faces an existential crisis.
What is it that we need to do to unify the Republican Party and all strains of conservative wings in the party?
As the shadow of Trump looms large over the party.
I don't think I'm a divisive person. I'm a unifier.
Meanwhile, you're just wondering who the heck to vote for this fall. And we're here to help.
Everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie to benefit themselves and their people.
The latest news, opinion, and insight only on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
8:07 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's now 1 hour from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 45 minutes. The Kennedy is an hour and 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 45 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to Montrose, an hour 15 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, it's an hour and a half either way between Thorndale and downtown. The Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. It's 35 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound delays are in pockets from 132 to Deerfield Road. Northbound a mess from I-57 to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's from Reagan Tollway delays. Orchard to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. Though most of the way from the Des Plaines River Bridge up to 290 and 53 now has heavy delays in both directions approaching Kershaw. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy today with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around into the early parts of the afternoon with a high of 79. Then an early evening shower or thunderstorm, otherwise skies clearing later tonight with a low 60. Partial sunshine tomorrow, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
66 degrees, showers and thunderstorms crossing the area. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think the political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met. I have to tell you that, okay? Of course, you're excluded, Carl.
I think the liberal media, and I've been dealing with you a long time, need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues.
It's important that Donald Trump and what he represents, this kind of ethnic, quote, conservatism or populism, be so decisively rebuked that the Republican Party and Republican voters will forever learn their lesson.
Can you think of any circumstances under which a Secretary of State would need a personal server for government business?
For government business, I cannot.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So no state budget, and no surprise that there's no state budget with supermajorities of Democrats in the General Assembly that, like Speaker Madigan, want to spend money we don't have to the tune of another $7 billion. Where's Illinois financially right now? Well, the Mercatus Center at George Mason University just released their ranking of states' fiscal condition. And Illinois placed out of 50 Amy?
49.
47.
Oh, we're a little bit better.
We shot past New Jersey. We're coming for you, Kentucky. So great news there, 47. So that gives you an idea that what's happening in Illinois, not happening throughout most of the rest of the nation, the overwhelming portion of the nation. And remember, the governor has been here for 15 months, and Madigan and Cullerton have been in Springfield for 40 years when you want to try and distribute the responsibility for where Illinois finds itself. To drill this down to your household level, so we're not talking in billions and billions and tens of billions. So
because you lose me at 10 billion.
Well, Illinois Comptroller Leslie Munger, friend of the show, she put out a nice meme, if you will, to drill this down so it's understandable. Think about this as your household. This is Illinois. You have $7,000 in bills on your kitchen table.
Okay.
You have 2,000 bills in the mail coming to you. You have $110,000 in credit card debt.
Whoa.
And you have $100 in your bank account. Make it work.
It's impossible.
Right. Impossible. So where do we go from here to the land of the possible? How do we get there? Well, let's pose that question to State Senator Christine Radogno. She is the Senate Republican leader. Senator Radogno, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Good to be with you.
So nothing happened yesterday, except a lot of kabuki theater and a lot of posturing. And we find ourselves without a budget, as frankly anticipated, without a continuing appropriation for K through 12 schools, as somewhat anticipated. And so what's tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that look like?
Well, again, dealing with the supermajority Democrats they are the only ones that can allow us a vote on a balanced budget. And of course, they've not done that. The House passed a wildly out of balance budget. The Senate passed a school bill that spent another $900 million that we don't have. So right now, we're nowhere. We don't know that schools will open in the fall. We are looking at universities closing. We are looking, frankly, at not being able to feed prisoners and people in mental health institutions. So it's critical that we pass some sort of plan to allow minimal state operations. The Democrats have given lip service to saying that they will go ahead and do that. But my fear is that they're looking at the crisis we're in with no operating money as an opportunity to somehow negotiate more spending. So that's what we'll be dealing with in the next week, is to try to keep the spending that they want to do minimal.
And you mentioned that this is all political because, you mentioned I watched you on Channel 7 last night. You said it was all political because Madigan wants to drag this into the fall election cycle.
Oh, absolutely. Both of the Democrat leaders have said, we can't do anything until after the election. Just think about that. There's always an election around the corner. That is a complete and utter abdication of responsibility to say, oh, time out, we have to put everything on hold because we have elections, and oh, by the way, we can't possibly go against the people that might help reelect us.
And when you're talking about continuing a probe, for example, for K through 12 schools, and you mentioned you don't know at this point whether schools open in the fall, at least some that are heavily reliant on state resources. The governor had asked for a clean appropriation, right? He's done this before. This is essentially what happened last year. Clean appropriation. Let's make sure the schools have their funding, and then let's deal with the rest of the budgetary matters. And they didn't want to do that, meaning the Democrats.
Well, what they did is the Senate passed a clean bill, but they piled on $900 million of additional spending. So when you go back to the comptroller's example of your kitchen table, that's just another pile of spending coming at you when you just have that $100 in your checking account. We're all for spending money on schools, but you can't do pie in the sky. You've got to be reasonable and cognizant of what taxpayers can possibly afford.
Yeah, but to say that schools won't be open this fall, really? Because we all have kids, but what about Chicago Public Schools? Are we the first district targeted?
Well, there's no targeting. The fact of the matter is Chicago does rely heavily on the state. They won't open or will have a difficult time opening if there's no appropriation passed. But I think that the plan at this point is to try to go back next week and look at some stopgap budgeting and a clean education bill. But we cannot spend an extra $900 million on education right now.
Well, so there seems to be, with respect to the stopgap budgeting, so the governor was opposed to it, and then he proposed a stopgap budget that was not received by the Democrat leaders. Former Governor Edgar criticized the stopgap budget as kind of the worst of all possible worlds, and that essentially was Governor Rauner's initial position. So where are we? Is that a sensible play, or is that a play that is made out of, frankly, exasperation with the intransigence of Madigan and Cullerton?
Well, it is a sensible play, and the reason the governor opposed it when it was raised as a short time ago, last week, is that we were still hopeful that the Democrats would, in good conscience, engage in a negotiation that would provide a long-term budget and long-term reforms. Yesterday, when it became crystal clear that was not going to happen, the governor resurrected the concept of a short-term budget. I mean, the Democrat leaders have told him, we're not doing anything till after the election. So he has no choice but to look at a stopgap measure.
Now, yesterday, the Senate rejected that $7 billion out-of-balance budget Madigan pushed through the House. And that's being seen by some as, oh, look, there's disarray. I see that, and correct me if I'm wrong, tell me what you think. I see that as, wait a second, this is just Senate Democrats making a feint, kind of doing a pox on both your houses, the governor and Madigan. We don't want to take the heat the governor's taking. We don't want to take the heat that Madigan is taking for pushing through a $7 billion unconstitutionally unbalanced budget. So we're going to feign independence that we don't really possess. We're going to pretend that we're interested in fiscal sanity that we're not really interested in. We're just trying to stay out of the fray.
Well, if in fact they're really set up with Madigan, that remains to be seen. The fact is they rarely reject what Madigan crams down their throat. They did that last night. We'll find out soon enough if they were sincere in attempting to get a better product. They have not to date, so we'll see.
And to your point, though, in terms of the kind of perhaps being cynical about their sincerity, is at the end of the day, they reject that, but then Cullerton, like Madigan, says nothing until after the election. So how serious are they about trying to get a balanced budget in place, right away, considering all the challenges the state has?
Well, exactly. And not only minutes after they rejected Madigan's budget, they passed a standalone school bill that spent nearly another $1 billion.
Right. There you go.
So,
right.
I mean, you got to wonder.
Keep spending money we don't have. That's what we do.
Exactly.
Well, and so if that's the case, as you say, Republicans are in the super minority in both houses, so they're essentially at the mercy of Cullerton and Madigan. If we don't see a budget before November or before the election, what does the next 5 months look like, both in terms of the impact on Illinois families as well as the discourse during the political campaign?
Well, if nothing is done, if there's no stopgap measure passed, if there's no spending plan passed, I think you will see universities closed. You will see chaos in the public safety world. You will see schools not open. I mean, the consequences are enormous. And Democrats are aware of that as well, which is why I think they will be driven to the table to attempt to negotiate some sort of stopgap measure. My biggest fear about the stopgap measure, however, is that they see this as an opportunity to get more.
Right.
We'll give you a little bit, but we want a whole lot more spending. So the taxpayers are definitely at risk as this thing goes on.
She is State Senator and Senate Republican leader Christine Radogno. Senator Radogno, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, how much money did Donald Trump really raise for the vets, and who did it go to, and his new look on reporters. But first, here's your forecast. Showers today. It's just going to be nasty throughout the day. Heavy stuff rolling through here in the afternoon that can bring some hail and high winds. A high of 80. And tomorrow looks picture perfect. Mostly sunny skies. A high of 79. Travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Edens is an hour from Lake Cook to the Junction. Delays start on the Spur. Outbound, it's 45 minutes. The Kennedy, an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound, an hour 10. The Eisenhower, an hour and a half. Either way, between Thorndale and downtown. Inbound, it's an hour 10 from Manheim to the Loop. The Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford, 45. Lakeshore Drive is heavy. Tollways, the Tri-State southbound stop and go 120 to 137. Northbound, huge delays from I-57 to 31st and the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway jammed. Higgins to 53 and Elmhurst to Lee. Westbound from the Devon Toll to Toohey. Reagan Tollway, Veterans Memorial, much heavier than usual as well. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, if public schools don't open this fall, maybe it's time to send your kids to a private school. And if you thought you couldn't afford it, we want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across the Chicago area available at half off the normal price. There's no catch. It's real simple. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across the Chicago area, including Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, Westchester, Palos Heights, LaSalle, Chicago, Arlington Heights, just to name a few. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. So visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases. And with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all the we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-503-5536. That's 1-800-503-5536. 1-800-503-5536.
AM 560.
The Answer. Dan and Amy. Well, Amy, yesterday Donald Trump had quite the entertaining press conference where he delivered $5.6 million in detailed donations to veterans organizations after months of being prodded by the Washington press corps.
Yeah, and good for them, for the press corps, for just asking questions, because that's what journalists do. And he was so uppity and so offended that they weren't complimenting him for his charitable work. Instead, they were asking pertinent questions. For instance, how much did you raise and who did you give it to? So he released a list of 41 different charities. But ABC News contacted each and every charity. Some he had written checks to months ago, but others he had written checks to just this week because he knew this press conference was coming.
Well,
because the questions were mounting up. Hey, and it wasn't a big deal, but he skipped a Republican debate to raise money for veterans.
Right, and you talked about the $6 million raised, and maybe some of that is late money raised, late money in, but the bottom line is the money raised, and that's what people care about, and that's what the veterans organizations care about, and I'm going to cede my time to Al Baldessaro, state rep from New Hampshire and a retired Marine who had choice words for the Washington press corps during the Trump press conference halftime.
They are using veterans as political pawns. It must stop. Donald Trump is doing this for the heart. You're all focused on the way he's raising money, and you're not looking at the 22 veterans that are killing each other every day. You're not concerned about the thousands of veterans that are on wait lists. Look at his plan on his Trump's website. He talks about medical cards. He talks about fixing the VA. He talks about competition. I think the liberal media, and I've been dealing with you a long time, you need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to
You're
cede my
welcome.
time to Tom Yamas from ABC News, who Donald Trump, we all know he called a sleaze, but Tom Yamas asked him a legitimate question because Donald Trump gave $1 million of his own dollars.
Mr. Trump, writing $1 million check is incredibly generous, but the night of that Iowa fundraiser, you said you had raised $6 million. Clearly you had not. Your critics say you tend to exaggerate, you have a problem with the truth. Is this a prime example?
No, I raised almost $6 million. Some of it didn't come through, but more money is coming through than didn't come through. The number probably is going to be, when we finish it, probably going to be over the $6 million.
Well, Trump doesn't. His critics don't say he exaggerates. Trump said he exaggerates. He said he exaggerated in Art of the Deal. That's part of a communication approach that he has for essentially public relations. But
if he can't handle the Washington press corps, how is he going to react when, world leaders ridicule him?
You don't think he handled the Washington press corps yesterday? He dominated them. And here's what he did. He presented to the American public, I'm the guy who just raised and distributed $5.6 million to veterans organizations that I vetted. Here's the list and here are the donations. And I'm standing with veterans. On the other side, you have media types, the Washington press corps, that are left of center, that are largely in bed with Hillary Clinton, criticizing how I raised and how I raised the money, when I raised the money, and how I distributed the money. Whose side do you want to be on, American public? Whose side?
I want to be on the reporter's side.
Well,
I didn't want the credit for it, but it was very unfair that the press treated us so badly. Go ahead.
To follow up on that, you keep calling us the dishonest press, the disgusting
Well,
press.
generally speaking, that's 100% true. Go ahead.
I disagree with that, sir. And if I can ask you this question, it seems as though you're resistant to scrutiny, the kind of scrutiny that comes with running for president of the United States.
I like scrutiny, but you know what? When I raise money, excuse me, I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. When I raise money
Love it.
for the veterans, and it's a massive amount of money, find out how much Hillary Clinton's given to the veterans. Nothing.
Yeah, he's having a real tough time handling the Washington press corps. He is beating them like a drum for political benefit. What you saw, the 40-minute press conference yesterday that Trump held, that was nothing but benefit to Donald Trump. Nothing but benefit politically and in every other way. And frankly, how much did Donald Trump enjoy it? You think he's defensive? This is what he craves. Donald Trump asked the question, is this how it's going to be with President Trump?
I think you've set a new bar today for being contentious with the press corps, kind of calling us losers to our faces and all that.
No, not all of you, just many of you. Not you, David, actually.
Is this what it's going to be like?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this what it's going to be like with President Trump? Yeah, this is what it's going to be like. So get used to it. Buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look, you know where I am on Trump in terms of his persona and his hucksterism. But when it comes to cheap thrills, beating on the media, there's few better. Roger and Gurney, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Let's do the math. Hillary Clinton, 0. Bernie Sanders, 0. Ted Cruz, 0. Dan and Amy, 0. Donald Trump, 5.6 million. He's the winner, and you're the loser.
Hey, Roger, how do you know how much money I have or have not given to veterans organizations? Yeah, that's what I thought. Roger hung up. That I tell you what, the real problem Trump has is Trump voters like Roger. I mean, it really is. Scott on the West Side.
Hey, Dan and Amy, thanks for taking my call. What I like about this is that Trump is showing that the government doesn't have to do everything, that the private sector, that he can involve the private sector and get things done, and that we don't have to throw government money at every problem there is.
All right. That's a fair
Scott,
point.
that's great.
Thanks for the call, Scott.
What a mouth on that guy.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You know, most people think when the stock market falls, everyone loses money. But guess what? That's not true. There's a select group of people who reap in huge profits even when the market falls. How would you like to know what they know so you can make money in any market condition? Online Trading Academy has just produced a new video called How to Make Money When the Markets Fall. They would like to send you home with this free video when you attend one of their free half-day classes. This will help you understand how to make money when the market is up, down, or sideways. Once you understand how to make money in all kinds of market conditions, everything changes. Stop losing money. Stop losing sleep. Watch this video. Learn what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. Call Online Trading Academy now at 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723. 888-601-TRADE. Call 888-601-TRADE or online at tradingacademy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Ooh, love this song. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation, joins us at 8:38. And what's the difference between millennial men and their dads? Well, one group is men.
And later, Dan Proft should be applauded. He's sending a chess club to Washington, D.C. Him and you. We'll explain. First, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have a thunderstorm and rain showers crossing the area at this hour. Egypt says a French naval ship has picked up signals that may be from those black boxes from the down Egypt Air jetliner that crashed into the Mediterranean about 2 weeks ago. New polling out this morning shows Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton leading Donald Trump in a very tight race in a survey done by Quinnipiac University. Doctors believe a newborn in New Jersey is the first baby in the nation born with Zika-related birth defects since the latest Zika emergency. Baby girl was born yesterday with a partially developed head and brain. Heavy rains are expected to keep pounding Texas. Flooding has taken over much of the Lone Star State. Storms expected to dump even more rain today and tomorrow. Cleanup crews are busy after storms hit the Chicagoland area yesterday, causing heavy property damage and downed trees. From Hinsdale and LaGrange all the way to Berwyn, an apartment building in Willowbrook was evacuated after a roof was torn off. Illinois lawmakers finishing their spring season without a budget, and little hope that Democrats, who control both the House and the Senate, will end their 11-month-old standoff with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner over out-of-balance spending. Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno joined Dan and Amy in our last half hour. Believes the threat of a government shutdown may now drive Democrats to the bargaining table.
And Democrats are aware of that as well, which is why I think they will be driven to the table to attempt to negotiate some sort of stopgap measure.
Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno here on AM 560. Police are searching for a suspect they believe sexually assaulted a woman inside her Schaumburg home. Authorities say that man broke into the victim's townhome early on Sunday and groped her while she was sleeping. She woke up and the suspect fled. Dodgers over the Cubs 5-0. Sox beat the Mets 6-4. The news service of Staples. Staples has new lower prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from an in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The NIU Husky coaches are hitting the road for their summer circuit. Events in Chicago, Schaumburg, Rockford, and Aurora. Each stop on tour will have music, appetizers, a cash bar, and a raffle for great prizes like tickets to NIU sporting events, Husky apparel, and more. Tickets are $20 at the door. Visit NIUHuskies.com to register and save $10.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now, 1-800-400-3906. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-400-3906. That's 1-800-400-3906. 1-800-400-3906.
Guys, if you've been using or wanting to try Viagra but are worried about the costs, we have great news. Now you can finally get real results at huge discounts with our Healthy Men alternative to the little blue pill. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get results for a fraction of the price? Call today and get 40 pills for only $99. Others cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want real results at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill for Viagra when you can get real results for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-375-1270 today and save over $500. You can have those breathtaking, toe-curling moments again and again. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Call right now and we'll rush you your supply delivered discreetly to your door. Just call 800-375-1270. That's 800-375-1270. Again, 800-375-1270.
8:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy delays start at Harlem. It is an hour and 20 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 45 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 5 minutes downtown to the airport. The Edens runs an hour from Lake Hook to the Junction, and outbound 55 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 35 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour 15 from Manheim, outbound an hour and a half to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 55 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 15. On the tri-state, southbound traffic is stop and go from Washington to 176, then Toohey to Lawrence, northbound jam, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway delays from Bartlett Road to 53 and Elmhurst to Lee, westbound from the Devon Toll to Louis, Reagan to Toohey, that is. Reagan Tollway jammed, Orchard to 355, and Findlay to the tri-state Veterans Memorial. Really heavy, International Parkway to St. Charles and North Avenue to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. At AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Showers and heavier thunderstorms crossing the area. High 79, low of 60 with clearing skies overnight. 66 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. That's music means it's time for Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Harris Foundation, and who will get to him in 1 second. But we were talking about Trump and him taking apart the Washington press corps for his political advantage, yesterday's press conference. Well, here's locally where the press is serving a useful purpose. And that's a rare thing to say about the Chicago press corps because they very much mirror the Washington press corps generally. But yesterday, a Cook County judge ruled in favor of the Chicago Tribune by declaring Tiny Dancer's emails, texts, and other communiques not exempt from disclosure simply because they are transmitted over private devices. It's not just Hillary Clinton who has an email problem. Tiny Dancer has one too. And of course, this is in the same context, personal email. And what I understand is this is where a lot of bodies are buried. So if these emails come to light, it's not just Rahm, but his top lieutenants. They all use private email. And if it's all discoverable under FOIA, we're going to have a lot of entertaining reading to do coming out of Tiny Dancer's fifth floor office in the coming weeks and months. So I just wanted to make note of that, because a hat tip to the Tribune for pursuing that case against Tiny Dancer and his, kind
How
of
many expletives do you think would be in there?
City Hall fortress that he's trying to run. How many expletives?
Yeah. How many swear words do you think he uses when he texts messages?
He probably uses so much profanity that he has emojis for different profane words. All right. Speaking of the cities, Chicago, one of the worst-run cities, worst financial condition in terms of major cities in the country. The same with the state of Illinois. I mentioned this when we spoke to State Senator Christine Radogno. Mercatus Center over at George Mason released their annual report of the ranking of states by fiscal condition. In Illinois, 47th with a bullet. Steve Moore, who hails from the land of Lincoln. You can't be surprised by that ranking.
Yeah, good morning, guys, and congratulations. You beat out New Jersey and Illinois and California.
And Puerto Rico.
California. I think you nudged out Puerto Rico as well. It's interesting. Those states, those liberal blue states, always find themselves at the bottom of the rankings. I do something with Art Laffer every year for ALEC, the state legislative group, where we rank not the fiscal condition, but the economic condition of the states. And Illinois actually briefly dropped out of the bottom 10 last year when Rauner put in his reforms. But once the Democrats started reversing those, you're back in the bottom 10 again. And it's just a cycle of economic mischief by these legislators. I was back in Chicago this weekend reading the paper, the Tribune, every day, and it's unbelievable that the legislators in Springfield just don't get it. This is a crisis, folks. This is not a fire alarm, right?
All right.
I mean, this is not a fire drill. This is the real thing. And the fact that they keep spending money, I mean, I have to say, I was even with a group of liberal family members, and they were laughing at how do you pass a budget that's $7 billion in deficit when you have a balanced budget requirement?
Well, it's practice. They've been doing it for 15 years. So old habits.
You're the chief economist at the Heritage Foundation. If you were in charge, how would you get us out of this mess?
Well, look, start by not spending what you don't have. Right? I mean, this is what every business does. This is what households do. If you don't have the money, you can't spend it. It's that simple. The Constitution is very clear on this, that you're not allowed to run massive deficits, which, Dan is right. Illinois keeps doing that. They just defy the Constitution. But then I would really look at, for example, the Chicago school system. Well, why don't you're spending, I forget the number, $15,000 to $20,000 per student. Why don't you give every student the option of a $10,000 voucher? They could go to one of the Catholic schools easily with that amount of money, get a better education. It would save the families money. It would save the city money. One of the big problems with Illinois, in addition to the fiscal crisis, is the schools stink in Chicago. So why don't you give every kid a voucher and let them go to a good school? It'll save the state money, and the only people who lose are the teachers' unions. But you guys know this, Dan. How many times have we talked about this? The people who run the state of Illinois are not the Republicans, certainly not the Democrats. It's the teachers' unions. The teachers' unions run that state.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And until we break from the grasp of the teachers union and SEIU and AFSCME, it's going to be, I don't know. Ultimately something's going to happen. Something's going to give. We've been saying it for a long time, and maybe people don't believe it because it's been said for so long. But the math is inexorable, and eventually you run out of options.
Yeah, and look, we did an analysis of what you spend on public services versus other states. So, for example, to build a mile of highway in Illinois it costs about twice as much as it costs to build a mile of highway in Texas. Now, why is that? Is it more expensive is there something about the materials you're using or something like that? No. The reason it's so much more expensive to build a mile of highway in Illinois is because you have so many regulations. You have, labor regulations, environmental regulations, all these other things that make it a lot more expensive to get things done. So why don't you start running the state of Illinois, Dan and Amy, like a business? I know that's an unbelievable concept, but, that's the way you save money.
But even if you have a businessman turned governor, his hands are tied because of the Democratic legislature.
Of course. And then, look, I don't know how to deal with that except for to say get rid of those people. I mean, shame on you if you're voting for the people who keep doing this year after year, putting Illinois into this giant fiscal hole. That is, you were joking about Puerto Rico, Dan. I've been doing a lot of work on Puerto Rico. I mean, it is kind of eerie, some of the similarities between Puerto Rico and Illinois. I mean, these states act as if they have an unlimited wallet, and they can spend whatever they want, and it doesn't matter what the taxpayers want because they're in charge and they're going to spend it. And look at the result. And Puerto Rico is a sad story. I mean, my God, they are truly bankrupt. They, half the people on welfare there. By the way, if you want to see Bernie Sanders socialism, go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. After you go to Caracas, Venezuela.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. And, it's funny. I was in San Juan over the holidays, Christmas holiday last year, and it's beautiful, and the climate is great, and the public policy is terrible. It's very much like Illinois. It's a great state. Chicago's a great city. The public policy is terrible. But it's one of those places, one of those rare places where this pristine beachfront actually has like shuttered buildings, right? I mean, the idea that you would have beachfront property in a tropical paradise like Puerto Rico, and you've got like a Marriott hotel, but then you've got a boarded up white elephant, and then you've got a vacant lot, then you got another little hotel that's been there since the 60s. I mean, that you can't even develop the beachfront. That's how confiscatory the environment is.
Well, and Amy was asking me what would you do if I were in charge of Illinois. Another thing I would do is, Illinois has a lot of land and assets, and you actually have oil and gas assets. Now, the last time I checked, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't want to misspeak, the Democratic legislature outlawed fracking. Is that still the case in Illinois?
Yeah, we don't have, we're not moving forward with fracking.
That's the stupidest thing. I mean, Illinois has a huge amount of oil and gas resources in parts of the state, and you get at it through fracking. And you could do a lot of that. You could actually charge a royalty to the company, so it would actually produce more jobs in Illinois. It could produce more revenues for the state of Illinois to help balance your budget, and you produce more energy. I mean, why in the world would people be against that? Now, I know a lot of my liberal friends are listening to the show and say, oh, wait a minute, you're going to pollute all the water. Obama's own EPA, this isn't Steve Moore at Heritage talking, this is Obama's EPA says there has not been one single documented case of contaminants in the drinking water from fracking anywhere.
Now, let me switch gears and ask you a political question before we let you get on with your day.
Yes, the answer is yes. I do hate the media.
Well, no, I know. I mean, but you hate him as much as Philippine President-elect Rodrigo Duterte, who said that it was legitimate to target corrupt journalists for assassination.
Sorry, what did he say?
He said corrupt journalists were legitimate targets for assassination.
I don't think I would go that far.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I know, but
I might hang him. I might put him, hang him an effigy, but not
right. The stocks in the public square, but not that. I got you. But the idea of Bill Kristol won't let this die. The idea of David French from National Review running an independent third-party candidacy for President of the United States. We talked to Jonah Goldberg earlier in the show, and he said French is considering it. He hasn't made a decision.
Wait, who is?
David French from National Review.
Who? I don't even know who David Frank is.
David
It's
French.
French, not Frank.
French. David French. Well, okay. Well, then I guess that's your answer on the possibility.
Look, I'm pretty involved in the conservative. Look, I have to say, National Review and Weekly Standard. I've always admired those magazines. I think they are really off on the wrong track here. I mean, look, you're conservative. Donald Trump, I'm going to just make a quick case. Donald Trump is in favor of the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. He wants to repeal Obamacare. He's going to end political correctness in this country. He wants to cut government spending. I mean, what is it that is not conservative enough for these people about Donald Trump? I don't get it. By the way, I'm biased because I've just been named one of the economic advisors for Trump. But he's got a lot of really good economic ideas. And it's so obvious that the only person who would benefit from that is Hillary Clinton. Do people really want Hillary Clinton to be the next president of the United States? I think it just would solidify everything that Obama has done for the last 8 years. It would be irreversible if Hillary won.
Well, Trump is definitely going to need good advisors around him like yourself to keep him disciplined and maintaining those promises he's making as a candidate. So that's good news.
Yeah, one quick thing before we go. I was at University of Chicago last night at David Axelrod's Institute for Politics, and they were very,
Institute for Political
interesting debate. But what was interesting is they were laughing and mocking Trump and saying, "Oh, he's so unfit to be president," and da da da. And he's really a clown wearing a mask and so on. And I was thinking, keep saying that, guys, because I'm old enough to remember that's exactly what they said about Ronald Reagan. Oh, he's a grade B actor. He's never going to be the Republicans have nominated this crazy man who's playing the Hollywood part, and he won 41 states, and I don't think Trump is going to be too far behind that.
All right, Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation and Trump Economic Advisor. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, see you guys. Have a great week.
Join us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, how Dan Proft helped send a chess club from Chicago Public Schools to Washington, D.C. It's in the process. But first, here is your forecast. Just a gross day out there. Yucky. Showers, heavy thunderstorms by this afternoon. Some hail, some high winds, a high near 79 degrees. Tonight, a shower or thunderstorm. And then after midnight, things will be clearing up around here. And tomorrow just looks like a picture-perfect day. Mostly sunny skies, a high of 77 degrees. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. On the inbound Kennedy, delays start at Harlem. It is an hour and 20 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound an hour 10. Inbound Edens delays start on the spur at Waukegan Road. That's an hour from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 55 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 35 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, an hour 15 from Manheim. Outbound an hour 25 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Southbound Lakeshore Drive heavy to 40 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. The Tri-State has southbound delays from Washington to 176, and it's slow around Laura. It's northbound heavy delays, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollway still pretty heavy as well. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. Statistics show that most people will listen to this commercial 7 times before they finally purchase Balance of Nature. Don't be a statistic. Take action to determine your future.
My mother switched over to Balance of Nature from all the vitamins, and she was having a lot of issues. She's 71, and she had issues with irritable bowel syndrome and things like that, and then like even urinating in the middle of the night, and all of that has cleared up. I mean, there's a lady that just was on the radio recently said, like, you changed her quality of life. Like, totally you did that for my mother.
Begin giving your body the fruits and vegetables it needs every day. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day health challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-700-6651. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, Ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-700-6651. 1-800-700-6651.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we had this math teacher / chess coach from Earl STEM Elementary on the south side of Chicago. 90% of the kids that go there come from families that live below the poverty line. Joseph Okal is the math teacher and chess coach. Created the program last year. Girls won the city championship. Boys finished 5th. He stood up to old guard teachers at the school that didn't want the chess program. He stood up to the teachers union with the one-day strike, wanting his salary to be donated to the chess club and not to the union. By the way, Karen Lewis tweeted that I need to raise money for my crooked self in response to what we were doing yesterday. And
Are you serious?
And I said that we should, I'll take the donation for raising money for me, and I'll give it to the chess club. Karen, so are you in? And then she blocked me on Twitter. So I don't know what Karen's problem is. I don't know what happened to us. But the bottom line is they needed $6,000 more in addition to the $4,000 they raised to go on this trip that some politicians invited them to, the teacher, the coach, and the club. It's Jaime Escalante of chess, as I've termed him, and these kids. And we've got some pictures of the team that we'll post on our website and Facebook page and all that, because Joseph Okal sent them to us.
I'll be sure to retweet that to Karen Lewis, because she's accepting my tweets at this current moment.
Fabulous. Yes. And so we said AM 560 is going to put the kids and Mr. Okal over the top, and we did that.
No, you did that because you offered to match $3,000.
Well, yeah, but we were well over $8,000. Donations are still coming in. I want to thank, among others, Richard Porter, Lauren Feldner, Angie Chiavetti, Russ Hariff, Donna Rizzotti, Jackie Delfini, Craig Hansen from C.H. Hansen, Michael Romano, Karen Peterson, Chuck Ostiniak, Martin Linke, Larissa Haran Calvanese, and Lynn Neiman, who works here, one of the employees at Salem. She also donated. So people came together. We're more than 8,000, so that means hopefully more of the kids from the chess team can go on that trip to D.C. and reward them for the great accomplishments they've made in a short period of time. And so thank everybody from, in the AM 560 family here, our listeners, for stepping up and helping these kids on the South Side. It's great.
I just can't get over Karen Lewis. I mean, because he wasn't with the union, so they decided to fine him. Yeah.
And in the immortal words of Al Shanker, when the kids start paying dues, that's when Karen Lewis will start representing their interests.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula